The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
Good evening, racing fans, and welcome to the night you've all been waiting for. Tonight is the night of the Superspeedway Cup Series Daytona 500. But first up tonight, it's Rachel and it's Gabe, and we're bringing you tonight the support race here. And it's the IROC 5. This is going to be some amazing fun here on the high banks of Daytona. Well, because the COT is broken, we're using a different car for the IROC race tonight. And that is the Cadillac CTS-V. Yes, the road racing car, which surprisingly, Gabriel, makes a fantastic oval racer.
Yeah, it's one thing about these Cadillacs. They've got the gigantic blocky front end and the giant wing, and they actually suck up pretty well. And in testing, I'm not sure if the apron is off limits, but you can definitely go down onto the flat and make a pass. That's how much downforce these cars have.
Certainly do, and this is a special thing that'll be running along this season. It's 4 races long, and this is race number 1, of course. But tonight we're running 40 laps here at Daytona. Lap times right now about the same speed actually as the Cup cars right now. We're looking at 46s, so it's not too far off here, Gabe. And this could be a very exciting race. We've seen them in practice doing 4 and 5 wide. Well, not 5 wide, I'm exaggerating, this is in Talladega, but we've had some pretty wide runs, and it's been very crazy.
Yep, they've averaged about 194 miles an hour around this 2.5 mile Superspeedway here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Guys like, it's going to be guys like Seth the Merchant, Chris Passini, Victor Bartlett, all guys who have won and proven themselves. That's why it's the IROC series for the Superspeedway series. These guys know how to get it done on the high banks, and I'm looking forward to it. This is actually the first time I've ever witnessed an event like this in my broadcasting career, so I'm excited.
And you have every right to be excited. This one's going to be a fantastic event tonight, and hopefully you'll be with us for this one and the coming 500 after it. Of course, that'll be starting at 9 o'clock as always. And of course, it's Sunwest Construction sponsoring the Superspeedway Cup Series Season 16, so yeah, they got some title sponsorship rocking on this one. And while the 500 itself, 124 laps tonight at Daytona. That one's going to be a crazy, crazy, crazy race. Everything on the line, the first points race of the season. Well, the season, yeah, season 16 for Superspeedway Cup Series, 21 races, 15 in the regular season, 3 drops and 6 playoffs. So it's going to be a very, very exciting 27 race season.
Yep, we've already had guys, running like Rodney Wolford. You've got, Seth the Merchant, all those guys. They've already shown in the shootout, in the duels that they've been running, that they're right back to form. But, is there guys, new guys coming through the pack that'll surprise us in the 500. That's going to be the IROC series that we're going to watch here for 40 laps. I can't explain how excited I am to watch this. 40 laps flat out, and these guys have, with the amount of downforce and the amount of speed these cars have, they've just been nose to tail all throughout practice. There's no, getting in line and riding for a few laps. If you can jump to the outside and get an extra mile an hour, you're going to go to the front of the pack.
You absolutely are. These cars draft incredibly well. Let's not forget they have traction control and ABS as well, so pitting in is going to be easy. And, well, because they have a little bit of that traction control going on, they don't tend to spin out as easy. You can see people nudging, bumping, rubbing. If you want to see some classic oval racing, people bumping and banging, this is where you want to be. This IROC race is going to be wild because they can rub and lean on each other's cars, and I think because they can lean on each other's cars, Gabe, they're going to do it a bit too much, and we might have some shenanigans tonight. Cheeky and fun.
We just had Wolford and Henry almost spin each other out on the back straightaway, but Wolford kept it going straight. If that had been a Cup car or a Nationwide or Xfinity car, that would have been that entire 4-car pack taken out. But Walford was able to hang on to it. So that's just a little bit of a taste of what we're going to see.
It absolutely is. And well, we're going to go to your race now. The grid positions are set. We'll go through your starting order for the IROC race here at Daytona. Starting on pole tonight, Victor Bartlett with Rodney Wofford joining him on the front row. Seth the Merchant, Frank Basilia III on row number 2. Row number 3, Corey Henry and Chris Passini.
7th place is going to be Rod Flagg, Michael Cozy Jr. round out row number 4. Andrew Berger, Brandon Cruz, Monsivice round out row number 5. And your final 3 starters are going to be Mark Jorgensen Jr., Spencer Preet, Travis Brown is your 13th driver on the grid. So 13 drivers, 40 laps here, Rachel, and foot to the floor action for all of them. I'm excited to see what we're going to see here.
Oh, it's absolutely going to be a crazy one tonight. It's going to be foot to the floor, flat out racing, lots of downforce, lots of horsepower on these motors, and the drafting will be tight. Like I said, we've seen forward racing, so I have no reason to doubt we'll see that in this race tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun here on the track at Daytona. Glad you're all able to join us for this one, and we're about to get this thing underway. And yeah, they may not be oval cars, but they're certainly going to show oval cars how to do it.
Looks like Bartlett was slow to get off the start line for the first pace lap, or first and only pace lap, but he's now going to catch up to the field. They're going to line him up 2 by 2. 1 pace lap here as always here on the ovals that are longer than 1 mile. Bartlett's going to come off turn number 4, take the green flag, and I don't think he's going to let off unless we get a caution. I'm not even sure there are cautions in this event, but you know, unless they get a caution, I don't think anybody's going to let off the accelerator.
No, absolutely not. These guys are going to go for it tonight and do what they can do here. Evening here at Daytona. Glad as always you can all join us. This is going to be a wild race. Cars lining up 2 by 2 here, ready for the start here. If you guys are ready for Daytona, you're getting a double dose tonight. IROC, then the 500. We're about to start our evening's racing here on LSRTV. A bumper evening of racing. Don't forget, of course, if you want to keep up with the action on the other sides, if you are on the pit box, spotter stand, or a racer yourself, you can use, of course, Joel Real Timing like we do. Go check them out at joel-real-timing.com. That is joel-real-timing.com. And grab yourself a free download of some of the best timing and scoring software out there, or go extra for the premium version with loads more features. But regardless of what the timing is, it's not going to take a timing software to tell you the green flag is about to drop here at Daytona for the IROC V. Green flag will fly, and Corey Henry and Victor Bartlett, Wofford and Bartlett will lead us to the green.
Still 2 by 2 on row number 1, then a shot from the Merchant there on the inside lane. Little update on your starting grid. 13th place starter, the 0-1 of Travis Brown, did not make the start, and they're already 3 wide back in the pack. It looks like Spencer Preet to the outside in that blue machine to the outside, that's actually Jorgensen to the top side in that blue machine. He's trying to make it 3 wide with Spencer Preet in tow.
They are not even pulling the punches so far in this one. 3 wide, they take it up to the high side there. You're right, that is, I believe, the machine there of Jorgensen leading that charge. They're going to make this one real interesting here as it's up top there. The blue machine of Jorgensen. You've got Passini below him, the red machine. You've got Berger on the bottom. Basilia the third up there in the blue, joining the top groove as we start to go 3 wide here. At least 3 deep on lap number 2 of 40. Yeah, they're taking us up to 11 off the start of the race here. Yeah, these cars have major draft on them, Gabe. They really suck up well.
Everybody gets a little bit squirrely through the tri-oval. They end up hanging on to it. Now it's going to be DeMerchant with Corey Henry in the number 12 machine. He's to the bottom. They're 3 wide for second with the number 94 machine of Frank Basilia. He's on the outside with Jorgensen and Spencer Preet in tow. Now they're 3 wide for the lead. DeMerchant has the run on the bottom. Rachel, can any of these guys break out and try and get to the lead by themselves? It looks like Corey Henry runs the apron a little bit, but he's able to hang on to it. Here comes the big run from the outside lane. Basilia, can he get the lead at the stripe? It looks like timing and scoring is going to trip. No. So a virtual tie for your lead, but Victor Bartlett still hangs on to it on lap number 2.
He does.
Oh,
There's a bit of contact there, and Jorgensen gets a little squirrely, but these cars manage to hang on. This is what we mean. The traction control and ABS keeping them in line here as we're 3 wide, 3 deep for your race lead here at Daytona down the backstretch here. Look at those cars lined up. Perfect racing. Wish we could see this in the Cup cars, but this is what we look for there as Basile the third drops down to the middle of the second row. This is like watching some Talladega stuff right here as these boys go for it already. This is of course, the first race of 4 in a point series for the IROC, but well, they're racing like there's no points involved at this point.
3 wide throughout your field. It looks like an Indianapolis 500 start for the Pirelli World Challenges fever dream out there, Rachel. This is the best racing I've seen so far in the Cadillac. These guys are still 2 by 2. Seth the Merchant got the lead last time by. Frank Busilia the third in the number 94 machine. He's to the outside with Victor Bartlett now in tow. Now he's going to go 3 wide. Bartlett to the middle with looks like Rodney Wolford in tow in that number 3 machine as they go down the back straightaway again.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and iRacing take note. Take the Cadillac off the road tracks and put it on the ovals, because this is the sort of race that we want to see out of this machine. This makes the Cadillac practically exciting, Gabe, as we got some shuffling going on here, as I believe that's the Merchant getting a bit busy at the front as Bartlett goes to the high side.
The Merchant moved to the middle to try and block that lane. Bartlett moved to the outside, expecting Wolford to go with him, but then it's Corey Henry on the bottom. He was able to get the run, but now Wolford, he's going to get behind the 57 machine to set the Merchant. That green car in the middle, on the top lane, he's going to get a shove from Wolford, but Preet at the same time. Now Preet and looks like Jorgensen Jr. in the 88 machine, they're going to go to the top side and make it 3 wide yet again for second. As Wolford's got it, set the Merchant now. He can pick a lane to try and block here on lap number 5.
And he certainly is going to block. He's blocking as hard as he can, but, well, they're going to shuffle down to 2 wide at this point and see what they can do to try and make some ground here on this field. But, well, they're keeping it going. They're doing what they need to do here, and they will not get too excited. They've got a lot of laps left to go. Of course, you'd think you'd be forgiven for thinking this was lap 39, but you know what? This is lap number 6 of 40. There's a lot still to come, and we aren't too sure what we're looking at in terms of fuel numbers, of course, here, Gabe, so we'll have to find out.
Tell you what, I'll actually hop in and see what we're doing on fuel. Whoa, yeah, these guys are good on fuel. They're about 81 laps sitting on pit road, so they should be good on fuel, and I think it's just going to be a match out to the finish to see who can cross the checkered flag, or excuse me, the start-finish line first, as Wolford and DeMerchant continue to go at it. A little bit squirrely as Preet gets into the back bumper. Preet, you got to remember, he did start 12th. He started last on this field. Wolford gets clear. Can Preet get out there? Looks like he didn't get the opportunity. Now he's going to move to the inside. DeMerchant gets the door. He's going to spin in front of the pack. 2-3 cars taken out. No,
it was all
caution.
under the line. It was all under the apron, so no caution at this point. They are there, and that's unfortunately where they're going to stay, as the pack will now have to try and get itself packed back up together and get this racing going here tonight, because it's looking pretty scruffy up at the front here, Gabe. They're all single file. We believe we've got Wofford and Bartlett, Jorgensen Jr., the Merchant, Basilia, Preet. Caution will fly. Race control throws that caution. We're under yellow flag for the first time tonight at Daytona, and it will not be the last.
Drivers involved with that, Seth the Merchant, you saw him get spun. It was Brandon Cruz Monsivice and Andrew Berger in the pink number 24 car. He was also involved, so your 3 drivers who got a little bit of damage in that. They do get 1 fast repair, Rachel. Now the question is, do guys who got a little bit of contact, do they save it? Or do they go ahead and take that free fast repair that they do get and get a brand new race car? Or do you wait, because you may or may not make it to the end of this thing without more damage?
The way these things tend to go, I'd honestly say you save that fast repair. You wouldn't want to use that too soon, because there might come a time where they probably will wish they had it.
They catch up to the pace car here. Updated running order: Rodney Wolford, Victor Bartlett, Mark Jorgensen Jr., Frank Busilia the third in 4th, and Spencer Preet round out your top 5. Corey Henry, Rod Flagg, Chris Bassini, Michael Cozy Jr., and Andrew Berger, the aforementioned one of those drivers who did get caught up in that little bit of an accident. He rounds out your top 10. And Seth the Merchant, Brandon Cruz Monsivice round out your field. And Travis Brown was an alternate. We did get word from him in the chat that he was an alternate. In case the 12 other drivers did not make it, he would have started, but unfortunately, he does not get the chance to race tonight. Now, will any of these guys come down pit road to at least maybe get a little bit of damage fixed, or maybe put a little bit more tape on the front of this thing?
Well, we'll have to see who comes in when here, as a couple of these drivers do, in fact, head down pit road, including Basilia III and Corey Henry also heading down pit road with him. We'll see those guys come for service. I believe one or two others have as well. I believe Andrew Berger, Seth de Merchant also down pit road, as is Brandon Cruz Monsivice. That'll leave Rodney Warford leading your field up at the front, and lap number 9. Wow, it's been busy already.
Looking down on pit road, Rachel, I don't believe Seth the Merchant is going to take his free fast repair. I think he's going to try and get that damage fixed. He's got a really messed up front end on that Cadillac, but if he can get his damage repaired at least a little bit, should be able to get back out there and be at least the slightest bit competitive.
He certainly should be, but we'll have to find out how that does play for him, because there's a lot of laps left in this thing, and we need to see how this will affect his aero. We have no real data to go upon here in the booth in terms of how the aero affects these cars at this track, but I'm sure over the duration of this event we will find out.
So as they exit off of pit road, those couple of drivers, everybody else pretty much inside the top 7 stayed out on the racetrack, barring I think a few drivers. Corey Henry, I think, was your highest up driver to come down pit road, so he will restart, I believe, in the 9th or 10th position, with Berger and Brandon Cruz Monsivice behind him. And one more, I believe, Seth the Merchant. Seth the Merchant still on pit road getting that damage fixed.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he'll get that one sorted tonight, of course, as he gets his damage fixed on the machine to get back out on the racetrack with the rest of these guys and get ready to go green again and have some real fun here. But this will definitely be interesting when we get into the final laps with how they've raced. Of course, a little bit of practice in these early laps, seeing how far they can move through the field. Things should settle down through this mid part.
Lights are out atop the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace cars, so they're going to line them up 2 by 2 here, Rachel. On lap number 10, we're going to get this thing restarted a quarter of the way through tonight's preliminary event, the IROC Series, and then on to the Superspeedway 500 in just a few minutes.
We certainly will be, and I look forward to seeing exactly how that does go for us in a few minutes. Well, not a few minutes, it'll be about 48 minutes. We'll see the 500.
I'll take your word on it. Math is not my strong suit, as we've seen multiple times here on LSRTV.
That would be true. Yeah, we can go with that. But as it stands, running order, Rodney Warford, Victor Bartlett, Mark Jorgensen Jr., Spencer Free, Rod Flagg, Chris Bassini, Michael Cozy Jr., Frank Basilia III, Corey Henry, Andrew Berger, Brandon Cruz Monsivice, and Seth de Merchant in final place. So a couple of these guys may have used up fast repairs here to keep themselves relevant. A couple of them have not. That includes Seth de Merchant, whose car is still pretty banged up, but I think they're expecting a bit more carnage before the end of this.
We'll never know until we get there, but we're going to get the restart here on lap number 11. Rodney Wolford will lead them back to the green flag. Victor Bartlett, I don't believe he's been outside the top 2 since the drop of the green flag. Guys like Seth the Merchant, he started 3rd, but as we saw, he was in that wreck. Damaged. He was on pit road for a while, Rachel, but it looks like he's still got a little bit of front end damage, at least cosmetically. But hopefully it's not too bad there on the number 57 Cadillac. That green machine coming up through the field, he's going to get stopped right behind the field and assume his starting position as they come to the green flag.
Yeah, they do indeed, and green flag will fly now. Warford leads the field back to green.
As they cross the start-finish line. Sorry, Rachel, as they cross the start-finish line, Rodney is going to try and pull out to a lead, but they're dead even as they hit turn number 1. Jorgensen Jr. and Wofford, they're on the bottom. Very familiar partners. I believe they're even teammates, which it would make a lot of sense. Then you got Rod Flagg, everybody's favorite underdog in the 23 machine. But no, it's just a joke on Rod. But Cozy Jr. also follows them in that line with the number 77. I believe that's the highest he's been all night here, Rachel.
You would not be wrong, it certainly is for him, but, well, he's holding it in a great position for now as the top line gets a real boost here. Wofford leading that line. No, Wofford leading the inside line. That would be Bartlett on the top side. If you're wondering why we're a little confused about some of these drivers sometimes, we see no big numbers and we have to look for the little names on their bumpers to work out who's who, because we're not used to these colours quite so yet.
Very nice color coordination, though, on all these cars.
Oh, it really is. They look absolutely fantastic. Of course, great unit.
Oh, it looks like Cruz gets turned. Brandon Cruz Monsiváis gets turned. Caution is out. Second caution of the night. As it looks like your back three drivers were drafting with each other to try and get back out to the pack. And the number 90 or 94 machine of Frank Busilia, the 54 machine just spun right off his front bumper. Looked like a little bit too aggressive drafting there, Rachel.
That was a little quicker than we expected tonight.
Yeah, you talked about in the pre-race these guys have traction control. The problem is, Rachel, if they get sideways enough, that traction control kind of just takes over, and you can't really get the car back the other way.
No, absolutely not. And the problem is they also know they have traction control, which can be its own worst enemy at times. It means these guys are more likely to get into, should we say, sketchier moments because they know they can hold on to the car. But unfortunately, in this case, it has been their undoing.
So back under caution here at Daytona, Rodney Wolford will assume the lead yet again. Victor Bartlett, really no change in your top five. Jorgensen Jr., Spencer Preet, and Rod Flagg round out your top five here. So we should get about 2 more laps here under caution, give these guys a chance to kind of calm down. But hopefully we get some green flag running in.
Yeah, hopefully we will indeed, but calm down. I don't think that's going to be a word we see much of tonight, in fact, because something tells me they're a little bit antsy. Is that the word? Antsy? Am I saying that one right? We'll find out at some point.
You say it one more time, I'm going to get irritated.
Oh, wow. I'll try not to say antsy again.
Oh!
You got antsy in your pantsy? Is that how it's going? Either way, we're digressing rather severely right now as
don't mess
field
with
back under caution for the second time tonight, and well, we'll have to see how this one will play out. I'm just not expecting anyone really to come down pit road other than damaged cars. They are coming back, including, I believe, the machine there of Piscini and, of course, Monsiváis. No, not Monsiváis, the Merchant going down pit road with him. Everyone else stays on the racetrack.
Lesson number 1, kids, never mess with a Brit.
No, we bite and we have crumpets.
What was a lineup? Well, top 2 lineup, 2x2, but we're not going to get the restart here. They should be at the 2 to go this time by. Cruz had, you know, he was the reason that caution came out, but Rachel, I don't really see any damage on that 54 machine, that gray car that comes through turn number 1 to catch up with the pack. Doesn't look too worse for wear.
No, he looks surprisingly fine, but then again, it's likely to happen. It's just one of the situations really here with how these things do play out, but regardless, the race is going to continue as it should, and hopefully the racing will get better from here, because this one has got quite a few laps to go now. We're cutting down the numbers. We'll be at 35 as we cross the line. No, 25 to go as we cross the line, I should say. Approaching that halfway point very rapidly, actually.
You see what happens, you work for LSRTV and your math just goes out the window.
It does. I think it's entirely Cisco's fault.
I think so too. I can't wait for him to get fired. And our mics have been cut. Would not be surprised if our mics have been cut.
We're just kidding. Okay, no, our mics are absolutely fine, folks. Do not worry, we're still here with you. Cisco's scowling at us from behind his multiple control desks. But as it goes, yeah, that basically happened. Yeah, Gabe just got yanked.
I was kicked out of the booth.
Cisco at that point, he was kicked out of the booth. So there you go. Vengeance has been enacted by the Cisco as we get back to getting ready for this restart here at the Superspeedway Cup and the IROC V, the first of these rounds for the IROC series. Well, it's going to be interesting because the field is starting to cut itself down. Monsiváis has damage. We know that the Merchant's repairing damage still. Brown isn't actually in the race, so people have learned some of the limits already, I think.
So, lights are out atop the iRacing.com pace car yet again. And hopefully this time we get a few more green flag laps in. Hopefully we go 25 laps to the finish. So that will be how many laps we have left when we hit the start-finish line this time by. Would like to remind Cisco that we do in fact love him, but he's just part of the crew and we have to bust him a few times.
Absolutely, it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm moving on swiftly. Okay, so Rodney Wolf. I just got a server group provoked. I'm not entirely sure which one that was, but hopefully it wasn't an important one.
Anyway, we're now guests.
We are guests, so well. There we go. So we've been handled by Cisco as he found a solution to us. Rodney Walford, Victor Bartlett, Mark Jorgensen Jr., Spencer Preet, Rod Flagg, Michael Cozy Jr., Corey Henry, Frank Baselli III, Andrew Berger, Chris Bassini, Brandon Cruz Monsevice, and Seth the Merchant, your field for tonight. And we'll be going back to green this time. Bye, Gabe.
Walford going to assume that position yet again. Same position he had on the last restart. Hopefully it turns out better for not just him, but the entire field, as they only made it to turn number 2 before the caution came out. So hopefully we can get some green flag laps in. All drivers who started the race are still running at the moment. Brandon Cruz, Montevice, Seth the Merchant, who have had significant damage. I think Seth the Merchant has finally bitten the bullet and taken his reset as they come back to the green flag here. 12 drivers will take it with 25 laps to go. Bartlett gets a great restart, Rachel, as they head off into turn number 1.
Certainly do, and keep an eye on two of those drivers. Spencer Preet started 12th, Jorgensen Jr. started 11th, so back row. And, well, those guys have actually made their way up. Oh, there we go. Instantly, she was there on the racetrack. We'll have a quick look back at what happened, because I don't think we'll get a caution for that.
Oh, everybody hung on to it.
Yeah, I believe that was the dark red machine there belonging to, I think that was Rod Flagg, actually.
No,
Rod Flagg's below it. It was Cozy Jr. tipped the 37 of Preet down into Flagg, unfortunately, and everyone held on. So green flag will stay out, but it's broken in front of our field. And look at this. Jorgensen Jr. taking advantage as we go 3 wide for your race lead here. Cozy Jr. pushing Bartlett, Wooford, and Jorgensen on the bottom as, well, Cozy Jr. is picking who he wants to support here.
Yeah, Cozy, I think he needs to learn a lesson about how aggressive he was there on that start, because it was the same exact thing that happened that ended up spinning Brandon Cruz Monsevice. It was just one driver checked up ahead of him, the driver in the middle started to check up, and it was just the driver behind had no idea what was happening in front of him and ended up spinning him. Luckily, the caution stays in the flag stand as Rodney Walford continues to lead here through turns number 3 and 4. It's a 4-car breakaway at the front with Rod Flagg all by himself. Back to Corey Henry and Andrew Berger, who are drafting together.
Certainly is, and well, this 4-car breakaway right now is, well, dropped down into 2 pairs. It was 3 abreast for the lead, with Cozy Jr. deciding who he wanted to support, but it's now Walford, Cozy Jr., Jorgensen Jr., and Bartlett at the front. 4 cars with Rod Flagg actually catching up from the rear. Big draft up for him as one of those cars involved. Probably has a bit of damage on that race car after that tap, but he's catching up, no problems at all here. Corey Henry behind them. He's a little bit further back because it's 2x2 for the lead now. It's Cozy and Bartlett, and it's Flagg and Walford.
And Rod Flagg all by himself. He's still catching these guys. That green car, he's becoming a 5th member to this party, as it looks like Bartlett, he's going to drop down and leave Michael Cozy Jr. all by himself until the main man, Rod Flagg, in that number 23 machine backs up to him, and he ends up getting to his back bumper. Now 3 drivers as Jorgensen Jr. jumps to the top side.
There you go. Jorgensen Jr. wants to get involved in this one as he goes for his chance to lead this race. And that is exactly what he'll do here. Look at the move there. Good drafting power, Flagg behind him, but they're not hooking up quite as quickly, and this might cost him.
It's 3 drivers on the top, 2 drivers on the bottom. As Walford and Bartlett, who started 1 and 2, they continue to try and work their way, started 1 and 2. Sorry, I was looking at something different. They trying to take this lead back here as they come down in the front straightaway. They are going to get it, but now Rod Flagg jumps to the bottom side of the racetrack. He's going to try and move his way up into 3rd as the 2 drivers, Jorgensen and Cozy Jr., they're going to try and work their way on the outside lane. The 2 juniors in the field continuing to draft together.
Almost as if they expected it. Cozy Jr. and Jorgensen Jr. there, the 77 and the 88. Coincidence? I think not. 2 drivers with double numbers and 2 drivers with Junior in the name. There's almost a pattern here. Well, as it stands, of course, it's now Walford out front there with Bartlett. Flagg moves up with those guys and will stay ahead of the cars behind him. Big advantage there for Flagg. He's moved past Cozy Jr. and Jorgensen Jr. Definite advantage there at that moment in time, so he's going to hold himself forwards. That would be definitely beneficial for him. as we keep an eye on what's going on further behind them now. We'll take a quick look. Monster Vice has moved up from 10th on the start to now running in 6th. He's going underneath Henry, Passini and Berger. That's definitely paying off for him. No, Monster Vice is the grey car up at the top there. That's Henry on the low side. Passini and Berger pushing him past. This trio's going to try and go past as well. Don't forget, folks, we now have approximately 35 minutes until the Sunwest Construction Season 16 Daytona 500 here from the Superspeedway Cup Series. Right now, you're watching the IROC V support race here for the 500. We're on lap 21, going on to 22 here of 40. There'll be no fueling. We've had 2 cautions. Will we see another one? That's going to be very important to find out. But as it stands, it is down there on the bottom. Monster Vice getting passed now by the other 3 who a minute ago would actually he'd been passing. Now the tables turn towards the sharp end here, and flags changed allegiances once again, as is everybody else. It's Wofford and Cozy Jr. on the low side, Jorgensen Jr. and Bartlett on the top, and flag is now up top as well, helping them. So this one is all change where it matters at the front of this race. They have approximately 5 seconds on Monster Vice back in 6th place, so it's the top 5 are going to really decide this one amongst themselves, I think, here, as there's only really 5 of them in this thing. If we don't get into the caution, it's almost a given. It's one of these guys will take the flag here for the first round of the IROC V Series, so we will have to keep our eyes on where they all round up. These cars have definitely proven to be very good at drafting, and not seeing too many people popping out to get air on the radiators, so it's going to be interesting to see what their temperature's doing, because these cars obviously aren't as limited as NASCAR cars. I'm not entirely sure where they're taking most of their air in and how these road cars and Superspeedway handle it, because they aren't getting as hot as the Cup cars, but then again their grills are fully open, they can't actually close them off, so they're staying relatively cool. We don't tend to see them popping out to cool down, but the bumpers may look square. They're not that square, they're actually a little bit more pointed in the middle, which is why you often see them drafting then getting shoved off to the side. As we see that thing happen to Cozy Jr. himself. Bartlett goes up the racetrack. Jorgensen Jr. has to back out there, so does Flag. Almost exactly the point I was making at that point in time, and wow, it's almost like I planned for it to happen here. Is look at that there. Wofford drops off. Bartlett gets a huge run on the outside on his own. Able to draw level, but cannot get round him. Cozy moves up to help. Can he get this one further around? No. He says, I want to try and squeeze my way up here on my own and make this 3 wide for the race lead at this point in time. We're not going to help each other. Let's go and race. Do just that. And now they drop down. He helps Bartlett in front of him, but Flag and Jorgensen Jr. are coming with a head of steam below them. Will they take it 3 wide to pass, or will they slot in line with Wofford? Looks like they're going to go and help Wofford as Bartlett drops down in front of Wofford, leaving Cozy on the high side. Jorgensen can't come up. Bartlett moves back up. No one could decide where they want to be in this race here, as big push there by Jorgensen Jr. on the bottom. The blue 88 machine pushing that mustard yellow car of Rodney Wofford. The canary yellow machine of Bartlett pushed by the red car of Cozy Jr. and the green of Rod Flag. Oh, up into the wall goes Bartlett, slams that wall hard. That'll be damage for him as he drops back. Move Cozy and Flag up into your top 4 there. Bartlett already dropping away, so that could be bad enough damage to really hurt his race so far. 26 here of 40. We have 14 laps to go this time. 14 laps is what we had the first 2 cautions in, and we haven't seen one for about 10 laps or so, so things are going reasonably well so far. We'll have to see how this one plays out, of course, but a gap back to 5th, 6th place, which is now Chris Passini. 7.4 seconds. The gap is opening up dramatically. Take a look back at those guys. They're all hooked in line, racing together. Spassini, Corey Henry, Andrew Berger, and Brannock, who's Monster Vice. They're running in order. Behind them, you have another gap back to Spencer Preet, running on his own, back in the 10th spot. De Merchant is 1 lap down in 11th place. And Basili the third is out in the 12th spot. So, another car's got broken up after that second big wiggle in turn number 2. And, well, that's going to make things a bit more interesting for this one. Those guys, of course, going to be down on the points when it comes to the next rounds, but the IROC 5 series. But Look at this, Jorgensen Jr. made to break for the front. Everyone on the outside, they're leaving Wofford alone. Wofford might feel some abandonment issues after this race because he just got dropped. Faster than a quarterback that cannot throw a ball. Wofford down on the low side, no one to help him. Bartlett takes a look at it, but the outside's momentum kind of tracks him back up there again. He stays faithful though for the time being. Jorgensen Jr. drops down in line and leaving Cozy and Flag at the high side. Now there's 3 on the low. Will that be the big advantage? There's big wiggle there by Jorgensen Jr. He gets turned, holds onto it. Flag gets pressed up against the wall by Wofford, and that will get a replay of for you. And look at what happened, but it's that not quite the straight front bumper as he gets turned by his teammate and friend Rodney Wofford. Goes sideways off the track, comes back up, misses everything actually, so no damage for Jorgensen Jr. Replay there for you on the screen. No damage for Jorgensen, but Flag slaps the wall hard and Wofford hits him, so that could definitely change things. As Gabriel, I'm not sure if you've been watching this, but that was a bit of an interesting one.
No, Rachel, unfortunately I did not see it. I was at a meeting for the 24 Hours of Daytona.
That's a terrible excuse.
Well, okay, yeah. So can I get an update on what happened?
NASCAR happened. NASCAR was going, and then NASCAR happened, and then we're discussing NASCAR now after the fact.
Ah, NASCAR, left turn. Anyway, back to the racing. We got a race for the lead. Michael Cozy Jr., he is their side-by-side only cars in that lead draft, if you could even call it that. The 77 to the bottom. Rodney Wofford to the top side in that 3 machine. As Rachel, with these cars and the amount of downforce, I think we've got the ending to Talladega Nights here, as these guys, neither one can really break away.
Well, we just had the separation because Wofford tipped Jorgensen Jr. sideways in the trioval, in the turns 1 and 2, which broke up that 5-car pack that we had that was 7.5 seconds clear of your second group. Now time's actually coming down now. We have 10 to go. Will it be enough for them to catch them? I'm not sure, but we should see this group really hook up back together. They're going to pick up, I believe that is Preet, just ahead of them. Cozy Jr. and Rodney Wofford together. Jorgensen's 2 seconds back. He's well out of the draft, and Chris Bassini's the next car in line for him, as it looks as though Rod Flag and Victor Bartlett have gone down pit road, or they are severely damaged because they're getting passed by everybody. They must have gone down pit road. They're just being passed by the leader here. So Bartlett and Flag pitted to repair damage, and unfortunately it's cost them a lap here at Daytona. Wofford and Cozy look set to decide this one between themselves as Jorgensen Jr. goes backwards here. He is out of the running for this IROC 5 round number 1 by virtue of Rodney Wofford catching his bumper there. We'll have a 2-way fight to the end.
And it's actually kind of doomed the guys behind them, Rachel, because they were catching and they were about 5 miles an hour faster, but now they have a couple of lap cars up there with them. They're able to get a little bit bigger of an air bubble to get that draft working for them, and now they've picked up speed, so it might have spelled doom for any kind of chance for Chris Bassini, Corey Henry, Andrew Berger, and Brendan Cruz-Monsivais to actually catch these guys.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Gabe, but it has really unfortunately cost those boys something. They have gained some time back, but we've only got 9 laps left now, so I don't think they've got enough time to take advantage of that.
Oh, how about this at the front? How about for having a drafting partner that has nothing to lose that's a lap down? Well, now we got 2 of them. You got one driver on the lead lap being pushed by a driver off of it, and you've got the repeat performance right behind them. So this is going to be an interesting turn of events here in the final few laps here, Rachel.
Oh, it certainly will be, and we're looking forward to seeing how it does in fact play out. Because we are... some of these guys have friends, and some of them do not, but it's a good pairing that we're seeing here. Bartlett and Wofford, and that's Preet, and that is Cozy Jr. And Preet and Cozy Jr. are teammates, we know. Not sure about Bartlett and Wofford, though.
They are for right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Lap number 33 is closing in. 7 laps to go at the stripe this time by. Rod Flag got into the picture there as a lap car. I thought he was going to be kind of a deciding factor as these drivers start to try and go side by side, but I think he's just got a little bit too far away. But we did see him early in this event, Rachel, end up closing up that gap. So if Rod has any teammates up there, he may be the 3rd car to decide who wins this race.
He certainly could be, but for the time being, of course, we're just not sure who's going to fit in where with this because of the timing we've lost. But now we have 2 pairs, so we definitely have our actual race on our hands, and Rod flags a lap down. But who does Rod support here? He could be the deciding factor.
Looks like Jorgensen Jr. has been caught by that pack, so 6.8 seconds back is Chris Bassini. They're continuing to lose just a little bit of time at every single straightaway and corner that they get to. It's just starting to slowly slip away for them. They have 5 cars in their pack, Rachel, compared to, well, what is now 5. But they were racing side by side here earlier, and they were still pulling away. So I think they just have superior cars there at the front.
One of those virtues of having cars that are intact, I think.
Lap number 35, 6 laps to go next time by. As they come by the stripe, it's getting close here, Rachel. As looks like Wofford trying to mount another charge to the outside lane. I thought that Bartlett and Flag weren't going to go with him, but he ends up moving to the top side. He is going to try and get to the top side. Gets a little bit squirrely as Bartlett and Flag are starting to push heavily. Now side by side with that lap car Preet. He's still in second. Preet gets the Cozy Jr. machine a little bit squirrely.
Yeah, he does. And 3-car chain on the high side. I think it's going to have to grunt to do this one, and they're going to make it past, I think, if they hook it properly. Bartlett, Wofford, and Flag there versus Preet and Cozy. 5 laps at the line. This is going to make the difference here. And Rod Flag, like you said, he's a deciding factor, and they're staying in line for now. I think these guys are going to try and get a bit of draft and then make a charge. But they could get all 3 of these cars past. And of course, Flag and Bartlett, they aren't in the same race here. It's just 2 cars, remember, guys, that are fighting for this win. It's the 2 cars at the front of each of these 2 chains. Wofford and Cozy. They just have to get 1 car past him, and they're good. If they don't pull out to help, he's basically stuck.
5 to go now, coming to 4 to go at the line this time by as they come out of coming out of turn number 4. I'm still used to calling it Daytona number 4 because I've been practicing for the 24 all weekend. But Wofford goes to the outside again. But Rachel, I just don't think he has enough momentum. Could he do something, maybe kind of ride behind, about half throttle, store his energy, and make 1 more run at Preet and Cozy Jr. before the flag?
Of course, it's possible, but I think they're going to have to try that because with 4 laps now, 5 laps now, it's going to be cutting it fine. They need to get something to give momentum, but they're just not hooking up straight.
You have to remember, I'm seeing a couple of people talking about it. It looks like they're actually going to do that here, Rachel. As 3 moves to the inside lane, and he's going to ride up behind the 37 machine. Now, does Rodney move the 37 machine? Does he move him off the bottom lane and lose the 77's drafting partner?
I think you might need to consider it.
You have to remember the 37, the 42, and the 23 are all non-lead lap drivers as the 3 gets moved to the outside lane. Oh, it just went from bad to worse, riding behind the second place drivers. Cozy Jr. gets a little bit loose. Rod Flag moves to the top to catch that number 3 machine, so it's not out of his hands yet. It's made it just a little bit more difficult as they're going to come to 2 laps to go this time by.
We are indeed in 2 laps left in this thing to decide what happens, and there'll be 2 action-packed laps based on what we're seeing here. Who will be the deciding factor, and can they get hooked up in time? Has Bartlett just chosen another team?
Bartlett now moves behind the 37 to form that chain of 3. Now all that Rodney has in that 3 machine is the driver behind him, the 23 of Rod Flag. Here comes a couple more drivers into this. Frank Busilia and Seth the Merchant. Does Rodney's backing off, so he may be trying to pick up these guys.
Yeah, that definitely opened this one up and make it interesting. It could be what he needs to do, but they are, of course, more likely to be friendly with Wofford, so we'll have to see how this one plays. Wofford staying high, though, stays out of the way.
37 gets turned. 37 gets loose. That's gonna absolutely open this thing up as the 3 moves to the back of the 42 to try and get some draft off of him. This is gonna turn into something big here, Rachel, because the 77's lost his drafting partner.
Oh, this is huge. Watch him go straight past him. Here, look at this. Wofford, Bartlett will go round. It looks like Wofford's gonna follow as well. And if no one stays there with Cozy, he is screwed and has nothing he can do. But oh, round goes 2 more. There goes Flag. Oh, there goes Cozy.
Wofford turns the 23, or excuse me, Wofford turns the 42.
Look who's got him, though. Brasilia picking up Wofford. They're running with it.
Down the Daytona Super Stretch for the final time for the win into turn number 3. Nothing.
One more.
That the 77 machine can do. They come out of turn number 4 here, Rachel. Here they come to the flag.
One more lap. One more lap.
No, this is going to be the finish here, Rachel. Wofford has got it. He's going to run away with the victory.
This is starting 40.
You're looking at a replay here, Rachel.
I'm not. I'm live. It just says we started on lap 40. We're still going.
This is it, Rachel.
I am thoroughly confused now because my camera just ticked over from 39 to 40, and typically we actually go over the 40th lap in a 40-lap race. I'm not sure what is happening on my screen here. Yeah, I'm showing 40 and I'm live, so I am not entirely sure what the difference is here. But either way, we have a winner. Rodney Wofford comes in with a win in the IROC 5 round number 1. Michael Cozy Jr. in 2nd place, and Brannick Montevice, Mark Jorgensen Jr., Andrew Berger in the 5th spot. Corey Henry, Chris Bassini, Spencer Preet, Victor Bartlett, Rod Flagg, Seth DeMerchant, and Frank Brasilia III. Almost Frank Brasilia III, although he finished last. Had one of the biggest influences in this race.
That whole deal was whenever the 42 machine got a little bit looser. Maybe, Spencer Preet got loose right behind the leader. The 42 machine of Victor Bartlett was actually the kiss of death for his teammate, for the 77 of Michael Cozy Jr. The teammate was Spencer Preet. But as soon as the 77 lost that drafting partner, everybody scattered, and the 3 machine of Rodney Wofford ends up coming away with a victory.
Yeah, he absolutely does, and that was a fantastic run to the end here, and we are going to have a quick chance to chat to some of those guys involved in this one. He's coming home towards the sharp end. In fact, one of the first ones we've got a chance to talk to here is Brannick Montevice, who came home today 3rd in this one. Brandon, have we got you?
You got me loud and clear. Howdy.
Hey, Brandon. Well, 3rd place tonight. Not bad in a new car for this series, and what a hectic race that was.
Hectic for me, at least. I think I was involved in every actual yellow flag tonight, so that was quite surprising that I got 3rd out of all that. So that's pretty cool. I didn't have much time practicing with the setup. I've ran the car at the track before. I just wasn't really sure on how the car was going to act in a pack, and I really didn't get to experience that too much, so I just got lucky there with the 3rd place finish. Hopefully that'll transfer on to the 500 later tonight.
Hopefully it will indeed, but obviously as things stand there, that this one has been a different experience for you guys. How has been running this car? Obviously fuel wasn't a concern, but how was temperature?
You know, temperature really wasn't even a problem. The main problem was we would rev out at about 194, 193, so you had to time your rev limit out just at the perfect time to use the draft. Otherwise you're just going to rev out halfway down the straightaway, so you really had to try and back up your corners and get a run out of them and really just use the back straightaway to make all your passes. Everywhere else was pretty hard to make any ground up on anyone with that rev limit.
Certainly sounds like a definite impact in this one, but well, interesting to find out from you that it was such a rev limited race. In terms of that's why we saw runs stalling out rather than it being a case of drafting power, which we're used to with the cup cars, of course. It was actually you guys limiting.
That's what would happen a lot whenever you'd see, especially the top lane, because the bottom, obviously, it's a shorter way around, so the top lane really had to prepare their runs and really know when to make a charge. Otherwise, like I said, you'd rev out halfway down the back straightaway, then be stuck there for a whole nother lap, and then you'd back up, crawl back, and then slowly get another run and try and make the pass enter in 3.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not sure if we're going to get a chance to chat to any other drivers from this one tonight, but we are going to go, I believe, to a commercial break here. We've run down your post-race results. We've got to chat to one of the drivers who's come in, but we've not got anybody else with us here, Gabriel, so I think we're going to pass this one off to a commercial.
Yep, we'll close this out here for the IROC 5 here at Daytona. We'll be right back here on LSRTV with coverage of the Superspeedway 500. We'll be right back.
Hi guys, Scott Speed here, welcoming you to the Volkswagen Beetle GRC car here in iRacing. It is so fun. Wanted to give you guys some pointers around the track here. This is the actual track that we drove in Daytona. It looks unbelievable. When you see the footage from the onboard of the actual track, it's crazy how similar they got it. Give you some tips on the car. First thing you're gonna notice is this thing is a 2-liter turbo engine that has over 600 horsepower, and it is geared for acceleration. So you're gonna go through the gearbox very quickly. That's the first thing you know. As soon as you leave the pits, you're gonna be like, wow. You're just gonna have to upshift gears very rapidly. And then you're gonna get on the brakes for the first time, and you're gonna notice this big momentum shift as the car is gonna lean over, it's gonna have a ton of weight transfer, and that's because we run really soft springs in this thing to get the traction that you're gonna need in the dirt. Once you get through the first corner, you're probably gonna realize that as soon as you touch the throttle, it doesn't really want to turn anymore. You gotta be aware that 4-wheel drive likes to stop very quickly, and it likes to go very quickly. It doesn't like the corner so much. To the first corner, you definitely wanna wait until you're kind of straight to get on the gas, and that'll bring you up to the really fun section. And you get to experience dirt in a 4-wheel drive rally car for the first time, and it's incredible. The thing you're gonna notice is that the car wants to just continue going whatever direction it started in. So when you approach these corners, you're really gonna have to turn quite before the corner, very early, and the car is gonna develop this momentum to it. It's still very important to hit the apexes and to be very tidy and clean, but you're gonna have to do that with the momentum of the car. And then you got this nice jump that is really fun. One thing to keep in mind when you're in the air is if you hit the brakes, the front end will come down. If you hit the gas, the front end will come up a little bit. So you got to control, kind of like an airplane, the pitch of the car in the air so you're kind of flying straight. And as soon as you land here, you're going to want to start heading left. You're going to give it a big input and start it sliding to the left. And you're just going to be constantly trying to slow this thing down to make this corner, because it's very, very slippery and it's a very tight corner. And the preferred line, believe it or not, is still going to be right here at the apex. Once you get out of here, the next couple corners are relatively simple, typical tarmac corners. Not a lot to these stuff. This is all flat out. And yeah, let's see what a full lap looks like.
Welcome back here to the post-race of the IROC 5, round number 1 here, and we've got a chance to chat to second place finisher Michael Cozy Jr. Michael, a few people said you got screwed at the end there. What happened?
Well, it sounds like a few people got it right.
Do tell us your true feelings, please. We're looking forward to this.
Well, first off, I gotta give a huge apology to my teammate and everybody else collected in the crash that I caused. I was just trying to get going on the restart, and I gave him a shot there in the left rear, so I feel bad for taking him out and everybody else who got caught up in that. That was pretty much why I got down to like 6 cars there at the end, and then whatever else happened. The rest of it, like, it was all good up until, like, I knew what they were trying to do. When those three moved down, I knew they were trying to move Priya around and get him out of shape. So I didn't think they'd be able to do it. They did it, and then so it was all good up until that. Well, I mean, I still don't even agree with that, but I mean, they got going 3 wide. I did the best I could to block or do whatever. This is not much I could do. And then I guess Wofford turned Bartlett. I mean, I don't think that was, it's just how it happened. And I got screwed over a second time, so it sucks, but this is how it goes. I thought we had it locked up there at the end, but I was a little disappointed to see them kind of move my teammate out of the way like that. But what are you gonna do?
These things unfortunately happen in Speedway racing, and well, you'll have a second shot at it here in the 500, so we're gonna let you get involved in that and get yourself on track and get ready, because it's gonna be a big one, so good luck.
Thank you.
Well, Gabriel, that was Michael Cozy Jr. Controversial end there to the IROC 5 round number 1, but speaking of controversy, we've got a whole 500 to come up here. 124 laps, so half distance 500 for tonight, and this one's going to be mega.
Yeah, we've got Ramon Evans right now. He's practiced first on the board, the number 83 machine. All these drivers that we saw running up front in the shootout a couple weeks ago here, Rachel, and you and I were in the booth for that. It was a really fun race, and it was a really clean race, and I'm hoping to see a lot of the same. I believe it's double the distance, or it might be a little bit less than double the distance. But either way, I'm really looking forward to an event like this, because these guys, they put on one heck of a show during the shootout.
Oh, they absolutely did. I'm looking forward to seeing one heck of a show during what we have for tonight, and with the way this has been going so far, I think we're set to be definitely fulfilled.
Looking on track right now, Joshua Schwartz is drafting with Sean McCarrick and Mike Schultz in the number 16 machine, MAV TV, Lucas Oil, Chevy SS. They come to the start-finish line. Those 3-car draft may turn into 4 as they're going to pick up Ramon Evans. Looks like maybe if he can get the speed up enough as they go into turn number 1. These guys are just
the end of the practice session here, of course.
Yeah, these guys are just practicing, situations that they'll be in. You see a guy like Ramon Evans. If he doesn't get caught up in a draft or something, he won't just say, oh, well, I missed the draft. He'll remember that. He'll say, oh, that speed difference during that practice session, I was not able to keep up with the draft. So he may think of ways that he can, slow down the pack in front of him so that whenever he does get past, he'll be able to catch back up with him through the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to find ways of rectifying that situation under green flag conditions. And well, we've got I believe about 6 minutes left until we go to the grid here for the Season 16 Superspeedway 500. I can't wait. I know you can't wait. It's going to be a great race here on the beautiful afternoon here at Daytona. And what a race it's set to be. Of course, let's not forget this championship this season sponsored by Sunwest Construction. The Sunwest Construction Superspeedway Cup Series for Season 16. And, of course, there is a bonus for tonight. That is the... Oh, crashing on the racetrack in practice. The Barstool bonus for tonight. Top 5 drivers from last season's finale will be eligible for a bonus of $10. If they win the 500, the bonus will increase each by $10 if none of the eligible 5 drivers win this race. So, of course, those drivers that'll be every week. We've had a similar sort of system, so wow, they're in a position to pick themselves with some money if they win today, or if they don't win today, or none of the 5 drivers win today, Gabe, it'll go on to next week and it goes up. So Rodney Wofford, Richard Reagan Jr., Victor Bartlett, Joseph Younkins, and Chris Bassini are the ones that are eligible.
And with a 40-car field that we might have here at Daytona, there's a slim to no chance that any of those guys are going to be able to come away with the checkered flag. But either way, if they can, it'll be one heck of a payday for them. Yeah, as you said, I want to thank Sunwest Construction. It was founded in 1986 and has grown into the premier construction and development company on the west coast of Florida. Over the past 30 years, they've built and developed over 17,000 condominium units and now specialize in mid-high-rise developments, as well as commercial buildings and hotels alongside Marriott and Hampton Inn. Want to thank them as a new sponsor coming into the Superspeedway series. First time in some time that the series has had a sponsor, so want to thank them for putting up the money for these drivers to race.
Now we're certainly doing, of course, we talked about the Barstool bonus, not just a fancy name. The Barstool 49ers is the official campus Barstool affiliate for the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, and we look to provide real and accessible reports and insights on what being a UNCC student is all about. We give followers a unique look into campus life and sports and news on campus. It's not offered anywhere else, of course. The Barstool 49ers magazine, or website I should say, not affiliated with University of North Carolina in Charlotte, but they do report on student life there, so that's an interesting one there. That's they're supporting the Barstool bonus for this race. So yeah, we're coming down to the final few moments of practice here, and this is going to be a big one for tonight. And wow, do they take it patiently at the start? That's the real question.
Well, from what we saw in the IROC race, a real shootout event, no. But what we saw last week in the actual, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago in the actual shootout, yeah, I believe so. These guys, you know, they had a 60-lap race, I believe, that was just flat out, just trying to race for the checkered flag. Here they've got something to go up for grabs. It's the start of the points events, but they've got 124 laps to do it. I expect some green flag running here in the early going, some side-by-side racing, but they'll kind of want to take it easy. They'll take it easy on the bump drafting. They'll take it easy on a lot of different stuff and make the initial part of this race a green flag run.
Well, that'll be interesting to see, of course. Don't forget they do have one quick repair for these cars. So they aren't going to be down and out if they have a quick boot early on, but, well, they haven't got a lot of room to do it too often.
Looking at a few drivers out on track at the moment. So we're waiting for the go-ahead as these drivers continue to practice. You got guys who we just saw race. Victor Bartlett now just coming off the racetrack. Daniel Holloway in the number 26 machine. He's drafting with Ramon Evans, who has actually been knocked off by Daniel Holloway. So these drivers are continuing to put some fast laps on the board. Rodney Wolford, who did just win that IROC event, he's second on the board. So he's going to try and go for the two-peat here tonight.
Yeah, that would be incredible if he could do both races in this event. That'd be a huge one for Rodney Wolford, but wow, a lot of pressure to stand up to do that.
Yep, and another thing to look out for here at Daytona, and all tracks where the NASCAR cars race now, the pit road. You know, before we worried about your pit road entry and getting into your pit box smoothly, well now it's even, you know, I want to talk about this every NASCAR race that I do. It's harder and harder to get onto pit road now with the virtual pit crew. You won't see it on our screens, but all the drivers are, you know, they will see it. The fully animated pit crew. It's a lot smaller tolerance ratio for these drivers to hit their pit box, and we've seen a lot of mistakes even in the NASCAR Pro Series that drivers are not able to get into their box easily.
Oh, for sure. That is definitely a major issue for them, and well, we'll have to see how they factor out with this one as we do go, in fact, to your grid now for the Sunwest Construction Daytona 500 here with the Superspeedway Cup Series. And we'll be able to go through your grid for tonight's event, the 500K, I should say. We'll go through your grid now for that race. Rod Flagg even, who of course qualified on pole in the solo car timings. He starts out front. Alongside him, Rodney Wolford from the timing races. Then it's Mark Jorgensen Jr. in third place with Spencer Preet on the second row. Corey Henry and Travis Brown on row number 3. Glenn Hedrick and Joshua Schwartz. Greg Hooks and Jarrett Schwartz on row number 5.
First row driver outside the top 10, Justin Levine, and Freddie Busilia will join him on row number 6. Victor Bartlett in 13th, Ricky Walt in 14th, Joey Piccolella in the 15th spot, Scott Warren, Corey Smith, Jake Champion, Alexander Russell, and Richard Regan round out your top 20.
They do indeed. 21st, Ramon Evans, Joseph Younkins, and 22nd place, Gary Champion, Garrison Hogan, Matthew Almany, Joseph Gorringe, Robbie Lyons, Michael Cozy Jr. going in second in the IROC 5 race, Lucas Graham 29th, and Austin Coop in 30th.
Our own Austin Coop bringing it up for the LSRTV guys. Raymond Rittenauer in the number 30, the 31st spot. Set the Merchant, another driver, along with Chris Piscini and Brandon Cruz-Monsivais, who we saw in the IROC race. Dan Harrington, Daniel Holloway, Andrew Berger, Mike Schultz, and Sean McCarrick round out your 39-car field. Looks like we've got a late starter here, Rachel. Looks like Robbie Lyons and Dan Harrington may have both. I know Robbie Lyons because he did not grid, so looks like he's going to start from pit road.
The reason why, a couple of started from pit road, I believe, but a couple of these drivers have pulled over on pit road so they can, of course, come off pit road later and come out to the back of the field. That's a strategic decision by some of these guys, in fact, to do that. But Robbie Lyons, of course, not actually with us just yet. That car still behind the wall, I believe, a late arrival. But a number of drivers may have dropped back to kind of start a little bit further down the field, which is a fairly often used tactic. But around the green flag here for the start of tonight's race. There'll be a lot going through the heads of these drivers as they prepare for the drop of the green flag. Keeping that car straight, keeping the draft, monitoring those temperatures, keeping the tires warm, remembering your pit box, where to enter pit road, keep an eye on the fuel. So much. Oh yes, and they have to race with 39 other cars. Long left-hand turn for the pace car. American Ethanol green flag will fly. The Sunwest Construction Superspeedway Cup Series Daytona 500K is go.
Rod Flag trying to lead him down into turn number 1. Jorgensen Jr. in the number 88 machine, drafting those top 5 drivers we just saw in that IROC race, so they got to get accustomed again to these big stock cars as that number 23 machine gets shut out to the lead by himself. Top 3 now single file out as Spencer Preet. He's now side by side with it looks like Corey Henry to the inside in that number 12 machine.
Really is there, and wow, that was a bit of a shuffle at the front for this one. 23 car flag sits out front. Toyota for the first time for him. Jorgensen Jr. comfortably in second place now. Watford drops back to third. 37 of Preet up into the 4th spot there. Everyone's being fairly safe and sensible right now. Too wide through parts of your pack, but in general, everyone's darted for the low side here, ready to run out the numbers on this thing.
Just to show on this new handling model here, Rachel, Corey Henry, he was the 4th driver on the inside lane. He slid back now a few car lengths because the car actually got loose on entry, so that 12 machine, he's still running in the 6th spot. He's actually going to move up to 5th now as they go into turn number 3 as the top side now is starting to fall back a little bit. But they are getting a little bit loose here, Rachel, so that's going to be something to look out for. And it looks like the number 76 machine of Scott Warren, he's your final driver left on the outside lane. Back to the number 81 machine, Joseph Youngkins in the number 81 machine in 18th. Now it looks like the 42 of Victor Bartlett's going to jump to the top side.
Looks like he is indeed, and will do what he can here to hold on for this one, but keep it patient is what they need to focus on. No need to get crazy too soon. There's a long race ahead of these guys. Looking through your field, and I'm seeing pretty much everything is single file, a little bit further down the order. But in general, everyone's slotting down single file. At least your top, maybe, 12 cars are single file right now. Yeah, I'd say top 12. Ricky Wall, last of those cars running single file. That's number 11 FedEx Express machine for him. Further up there, 12 cars running single file. No one wanting to tempt things too soon. We've had plenty of practice running, of course. Normally you see at the start of a race, people will race like its last few laps for the first 5 laps or so, feeling out the draft, feeling out the competition. These guys have had now 3 or 4 races with each other at this track this season. They're warmed up, they're ready to go, they're cruising now and playing the strategy.
Drivers on the move so far from 28th to 19th. The driver who finished second in that IROC race, Michael Cozy Jr. in the number 77 machine. He's on the top side, followed by another driver on the move, Austin Coop, who's moved up 9 spots since the start of this race. It's the 22 of Piccola. Gets a little bit loose there on the bottom. I'm going to figure out how to say that name by the end of the night.
Piccola.
All right, there we go. So I'm going to have you cover that name for the duration of tonight's event. But Coop up from the 30th spot up to 21st now as I cross timing and scoring. If he's going to stay in that 21st position. Right below them is actually Lucas Cram in the 44. All these drivers are trying to put themselves in a good position.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and I'm being told it's Piccolella. There we go, Piccolella. As Cisco tells us, he always has the pronunciations ready for us. But I'm a dumb Brit, what do I know? As we have now single file running all the way back to the 81 of Joseph Youngkin. So that's your top 22 cars of single filed out. Behind them, Cozy Jr. leads the outside line there with the 53 of Coop behind him and the 57 machine of DeMerchant. So Passini as well, and 24 of Berger. So that's a potent little outside line there who doesn't want to give up just yet, but well, they're being timid about it.
A couple of your drivers that did miss the start, Gary Champion, Dan Harrington, Robbie Lyons. Those drivers are out on the racetrack, so we have all 39 drivers out, but your final three start 37, 38, and 39. They're 2 laps down, 2 laps down, and 4 laps down. So a rough start to the year, but they've got more than 100 laps to make that time up. All they need is a few well-timed cautions.
We think they should manage that at least. I don't think that's a huge problem for them tonight, but of course they don't want to have it too soon or from the wrong direction, so I'll be hoping this one plays out.
Looks like we got some side-by-side racing. Spencer Preet jumps to the top side with Corey Henry in tow. Looks like the 94 machine of Frank Busilia the third. He's going to jump to the top side as well. A little bit wishy-washy. Does he want to get up there? He finally has to make a commitment. I also want to throw this in here, Rachel. 60 laps. That will be the end of the first and only stage. So they're going to have about a halfway break at the lap number 60. Great run on the outside with the 37 of Spencer Preet. He moved to the outside lane. Can he get anything going? He's up to third, racing side by side with 3 machine of Rodney Walford.
Yeah, he certainly is, and wow, they're going to push this one here, and a bit of 3 wide up there, like you said. Sorted out pretty quickly, actually, right now, as 37 of Preet will lead the outside line with Henry there and Busilia the third. A little bit more action we saw early on, lap number 8 here of the race so far, and still in the early stages. Guys are just shuffling positions here, of course. We're about halfway through, or approaching the halfway point on a fuel run here, Gabe, so they can't stay too wide for too long.
And we talked about this during the shootout. You'll see guys race side by side, get as many positions as they can, and then all of a sudden you'll see them drop to the inside lane, and you'll wonder why they're doing that. We'll expect them to come to pit road in the next few laps. So it's like we got a 9-car breakaway all the way back to Jarrett Schwartz, and now Frank Busilia actually in the 99 machine. It looks like actually Ricky Wall and Scott Warren have now drafted their way up. So then it's just an absolute melee behind them. The Rat Pack there led by Greg Hooks. But you go back to drivers like Austin Coop, they had a little bit of trouble getting past the 18 machine of Gary Champion. But they're now racing 3 wide, 2 wide back there, trying to get into a good position here in the early going.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and they're doing what they can to ensure they can get a reasonable position in this, but so far it's about maintain, maintain, maintain. Stay where you are, try and keep your ground. If you've not got much, now's not the time to do it. Let some cautions fall, let some green flag stuff fall. One of the most dangerous times to make moves, of course, in the Superspeedway is this early sort of racing, of course, Gabe. You have way too many cars in small space. It's that post-restart bunch-up. One problem can wipe out a whole field. We've seen it so far in the duels.
Yeah, and we saw it during the shootout. I think the only thing that saved that race was the drivers had an extra car in the garage area, because I think we had about 4 drivers actually get through it clean. So, and we had about 20 drivers in that field at that point, so it can happen quickly here at Daytona. Top 11 have broken away, but now Greg Hooks leading that train, and they single filed out. He's now brought that tire pack, so now it's starting to close in to B. Well, let's look here. Andrew Berger, all the way back to Andrew Berger in the 27 machine, as a big gaggle of cars up front. Jorgensen Jr. through the melee was able to get up to the lead that time by.
No problem.
Outside
no, they'll get through.
Outside lane caught up a lot. Gonna have to look back and see what happened there, but it looked like actually Rod Flagg jumped up to the top side to try and catch some draft off him. That allowed the 88 machine. He actually got shoved 3 wide, so some good racing here up front as Wofford, he jumps to the top side. He's gonna get
problems, big jump.
Big wreck, top 4, 5 taken out, caution is out.
Most
94 machine, the entire field. Rachel, you just talked about it. Calamity in turn number 4 was caused as they got
And it was, unfortunately, this is one of those issues you tend to have in online racing, of course. Looks to be a netcode turn there with the 23 and the 3, but the 3 goes round in front of the entire field from front row outside, and it skittles throughout your entire pack. And I literally mean the entire pack. The first car to stop and avoid it is the 57 of Seth DeMerchant, and backwards from 23rd place. And even then, some of those guys for the back are also junk. So we have a lot of cars demolished. That wasn't the big one. That was the huge one.
That was the huge one.
That was the everyone.
Yeah.
That was the everyone. Yeah. Not the big one, not the huge one. The everyone happens here at Daytona on lap number 12. So you wanted Super Speedway racing, you wanted the Daytona 500. What would the 500 be without a massive wreck?
In the first 12 laps. And actually, through that, Ron Flagg got a lot of right side damage in that. He's got his fast repair, and we talked about this earlier, Rachel. Do you come in with the rest of the field? Because it looks like he is. And I mean, you just look from third on back, it just looks like a race of modifieds. Everybody's front tires are, their front fenders are gone. Jorgensen, Busilia, Corey Henry, all those drivers racing without front ends.
Here's a big question for you. Do you come in at this sort of stage of the race? Well, obviously, if you have it, is the damage bad enough to use that repair? Because now you've got one car to last you a lot of laps here, 112 laps.
Well, if you're guys like Mark Jorgensen and Frank Busilia, that's an easy decision. But if you're Rob Flagg, he actually took it, so the damage is fixed on that 23 machine. But, you know, he took it when he really had a choice to kind of ride it out with the damage that he had and wait for another big wreck, because if he starts to slide back through the pack, or even, you know, we saw the leader's wreck right there, Rachel. So you're not safe at any point in this pack except for the drivers. I think we're about 15 or 20 seconds back.
Oh, absolutely. Even some of those got involved, as that was a massive, massive problem there. Pretty much everybody had something. And of course, this one will sort things out a little bit here. We'll get ourselves back to green in about 2 or 3 laps, and wow. Again, that's a lot of drivers now who really have to play this careful. So if anything, with so many cars losing backup cars, Gabe, you've got to think people are going to try and play this super safe now and fuel run it.
Gonna have to just wait and see here, Rachel, because they're gonna be able to get to about lap 40, 35 or 40, and they should be good to go to the end of the stage. But then from then on, it's a reset of the entire field. So yeah, do you play the strategy game to kind of win the stage? But if you do, well, you're going to be stuck up front for the part of the race that actually counts.
Absolutely, you'll be everyone's target, but at the same time, you'll be out front, and out front there's less stuff that can hit you when it crashes.
Looking back at the replay here of this wreck, what a massive netcode, and unfortunate for the 3 machine. And, you know, from everybody on back. So Rodney Wolford was the main proprietor in that wreck. He's now back in the 29th position.
Yeah, not an ideal one for poor Rodney Wolford. He got absolutely destroyed in that thing. And just comes to show you just how easy these things can happen. And, well, it wasn't even his fault.
Yeah, from going for the lead to hoping that you can at least limp it to pit road, Rodney Wolford has seen it all in the first 14 laps of this race. Rod Flagg comes back to pit road, so he's going to move back in the pack. He was your leader, but now that's going to put Glenn Hendrick in the 21 machine up into the lead.
Yeah, it certainly is, of course. And like I said, this is one of those situations which you kind of really can't work around. These things happen in super speed racing, and you've kind of got to play what the hand deals you.
So now with the updated running order, Glenn Hendrick in the lead, Jarrett Schwartz in second, Mark Jorgensen Jr. in third, Chris Bassini and Joey, going to go back to the reference, Piccolella. Joey Piccolella in the number 15, or excuse me, the 5th spot in the 22 machine. Spencer Preet in 6th, Ricky Wall in 7th, Seth the Merchant, Jake Champion, and Andrew Berger round out your top 10. That should change because I think I saw a few of them come to pit road. But we should get the one to go this time by, Rachel.
Yeah, we absolutely should get that one to go soon, and that should sort out a lot of these position orders for us. But one to go, we'll be back to green flag for about lap 16 at this rate, and we'll be able to get things back underway here and have some fun, but for the time being, it's certainly livened up the race.
Well, they're going to line them up 2 by 2 this time. Rachel, Glenn Hendrick will be in the lead. Where's this going to put Rod Flag? Because he did come down pit road. He's actually coming down pit road yet again. So these drivers pulling some strategy, trying to make it as far on fuel as they can, Rachel.
It absolutely is. And, well, this puts you into an interesting position, of course, because lap 60, you could maybe stretch 21 laps, 22 laps out of a tank of fuel with these things. And 2 more stops to 22 laps, 44. That puts you 16 laps. If you fuel up on the 1 to go, you could be in a 1 further stop territory, which could be huge.
Coming down the Daytona Super Stretch. First caution of the day, took out the entire field, but everybody gets a reset, so all of them are back. All drivers took a wave around that time. Robbie Lyons is now 1 lap down. Dan Harrington got 3 laps down. He's now back to 2, and Gary Champion, you saw him get passed by the entire field. He's now 4 laps down, but other than that, you have 36 cars on the lead lap. Everybody has fixed their race cars, and we're getting ready to go back. Superspeedway 500K racing here at Daytona.
Yeah, we absolutely are, and wow, the field is a little bit of a mess, but we're going to try and get this one back to running. But it will be an interesting, exciting run from here. There is definitely some fuel strategy to be played, I think, for some of these guys. We'll keep our eyes on that, but pace car's off, green flag flies. Glenn Hedrick will lead us back to green with Jarrett Schwartz on the outside.
A couple of the drivers started 7th and 10th. Mark Jorgensen there. He started where he is right now in the 3rd spot. And Chris Bassini, he's your biggest mover so far in that Pennzoil #1 machine on the outside lane, trying to get something started with Jarrett Schwartz. Now you got to remember, Rachel, we saw how fast that top line kind of petered out there on the outside. Now, can they get anything going in this next few laps to try and get the lead?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're going to want to try and get themselves into lead for now, and once they get down there, just run, because, well, they want to make sure they can just look after things, maintain. Look at Bassini where he is up there. He's moved himself up massively, as has, of course, Seth and Merchant. We could see some team play going on with those two as this one runs, because I'm not sure they pitted based on where they are right now. Actually, no, they would have been, because they were able to go around with the field or wrecked and come into pit road, so a bit of a wobble there from Seth the Merchant as he went to the apron a little bit. 43 dropping back there on the outside. Jarrett Schwartz is dropping back now to the 12 of Corey Henry on the outside, trying to hook those two up.
And there you're only 2 inside the top 20 that are on the outside lane, so it's going to be a long road back to try and find a place in line. Top 4 starting to break away. There is the number 24 machine of Andrew Berger. He's going to try and keep these guys in check with the number 11 machine right behind. It's Ricky Wall. Seth the Merchant continuing to try and work his way back up to the front. He started 32nd. Chris Bassini started 33rd, so it's a fight for the biggest mover so far here. And throw Andrew Berger in there, because he is up from 37th now to 5th. So 3 drivers inside the top 5. Rachel didn't even start inside the top 32.
Absolutely, and those guys are all pushing hard now to try and take advantage of the circumstances they've found themselves in, and wow, they have a long way to go in this, but there's a lot of advantage they can take from it. Big single file running here as everyone's trying to protect those cars. No need to get too excited too soon. The 7 car being our first car. Oh, problems. And there could be a couple of cars out of the race here after we got a big run there in turn 4. And then
Caution is out, looking
42.
for it.
Yeah, 42. That was, I believe, the car there of Victor Bartlett with problems at this stage. I'm going to replay for you. Turned by the 9 of Matthew Almany. The 2 Napa cars, teammates clearly. Round goes the 42. The 9 turns him. Nearly everyone manages to avoid it. I believe that was the... Who was this that got involved here? The 83 got a slice of it. That's Ramon Evans. But nearly everybody else avoids it largely. So Ramon Evans got a piece of the car and a piece of wall. 42 is very heavily damaged.
And Rachel, that's just a case of the driver behind not paying attention. They're riding nose to tail, and he just got a little bit too close and the checkup happened. And as soon as he caught the rear bumper, the 42 halfway went around, but the 9 stayed hooked up to him. So that was a little bit of a weird incident there, but some big damage for a driver who showed a lot of speed in practice was the 83 machine of Ramon Evans.
Yeah, it really was. And well, Ramon Evans doing his best to actually avoid it, but had nowhere to go really, so did his best. Unfortunately, might put him in a difficult position as we're going to go to a quick commercial break. Welcome back to the Sunwest Construction Daytona 500K here at Daytona International Speedway, the World Center of Racing. It's Rachel and Gabriel bringing you the best of the action here on track. We're under caution number 2 here, Gabe, at Daytona, lap 21. And this puts us decidedly into a one more stop strategy before our run through, of course, to the lap 60 stage end. So these guys have got basically a freebie for now, and then they have the final run, really.
And I know it's a little bit early, Rachel, but you look at the guys who are up in the top 5. You have Richard Regan. Oh, excuse me. Richard Regan in the number 46 machine. He was able to miss that wreck, and now he's up in the top 5. He's one of your drivers going for the Barstool bonus, presented by Barstool 49ers. But him, Rodney Walford, Victor Bartlett, Joseph Youngkins, and Chris Piscini are all going for the $10 bonus. Right now, Richard's the only driver inside the top 5. Joseph is actually right behind in 6th. I know it's a little bit early to be, kind of predicting it, but and I'm actually looking at the 81 machine, a lot of front-end damage, so I don't really see how he expects to run up front with that amount of damage.
Well, as we well know, of course, from this sort of racing, a lot can happen in a very few number of laps. Remember, a lot of these cars now, this is their last vehicle, so this could thin out real fast.
Now, who has the advantage? One driver who's been up front, I have no way of keeping track of this, but one driver who has stayed the reset, he's got a little bit more to play with toward the end of tonight's race. If he still has that reset, we're only at lap number 22, got just over 100 to go. We get the green flag here on lap number 23. Glenn Hendrick is going to be your leader. He led at the last restart, and he will lead at this one. The number 21 machine, Andrew Berger, to the outside, up from 37th down to 2nd. The American Ethanol green flag goes in the air once again here on lap number 23. 21 machine to the inside. Can he get a little bit of a restart here? There's a couple of drivers already jumping down to the bottom side here, Rachel. Now, do you expect to see more guys later in the race staying on the top side? Because we're seeing everybody make bonsai moves to the inside as we're 3 wide back in the pack there, but it's going to settle out. Do you expect some drivers, toward the halfway point to try and see how the draft works and try and make their move on the outside for maybe kind of learn a little bit for later in the night?
Probably. I mean, I just saw the 91 of Alexander Russell drop below the yellow line in the backstretch to go to the rear, which is a fairly safe and long-term strategy there from him. But yeah, a lot of these guys are in this kind of early stages of a 500 mentality where the first thing you do on a restart, you find a hole in the bottom, you get down and you ride. You could spend 20, 30, 40 laps down there on the bottom just riding single file. It's safe. And remember, the only lap you need to lead is the last one.
Now, the problem is, Rachel, if we get to lap 60, they restart the race, and everybody starts thinking, oh, I have just under 60 laps to go, we can ride again. Well, the problem is, you see it in the real-life Daytona 500. Everybody gets in a line, well, all of a sudden, you're stuck. If you have 40 cars in a line, and 1 or 2 guys go to pull out, try and make a move, it's just not going to happen. So you kind of put yourself in a little bit of a sticky situation trying to take it easy. Because if you're riding in the 20th spot to try to save your car, when it comes time to win the 500, you're nowhere near where you need to be.
It certainly is, and wow, it's certainly pretty exciting right now, to be honest, in terms of how this one's playing out. The number of cars here who are actually, like we said, they're on their backups, so that makes a big difference in how they have to race. And now we have a mixture of cars. Some of these guys, they're still on their first car. They've got a car behind the wall in their haulers. They can race a little harder. They've got something in the pocket, whereas some of these guys, although I'd say quite a few of these guys based on that big one we had at the start, there is a different mentality that you have to race with now. You have one vehicle. That is it. You've got to make it to the end here, and it does tend to mean things run a little more calmly. You'd think, based on past experiences at Super Speedway Cup Series, I think we could safely say that's not always true. But it will depend. These guys know there's points on the line, plus it's prestige. This is the 500. Winning this is not just like winning any other points race. This is winning a crown jewel event.
Looking back toward just outside the top 10, Seth the Merchant, Austin Krupp, Chris Piscini, and Rodney Wolford. Those guys were all up on the top side. Except Rodney's now joined up with the 53 and the 1 machine on the top side. Those are all fast drivers. You throw Seth the Merchant and the guys like the 89 machine and Joseph Goringe, Chris Piscini, Jake Champion, all these guys, if they can get just 5 or 6 more cars on the top side, they can make another run like we saw the 3 machine and the 24 machine do in the first early going before we had that big wreck.
Yeah, certainly, and a lot of single filing out very quickly here. The 43 is our last car before we go too wide. It's Jarrett Schwartz back there in 16th place. He's only the 53, I believe, of Coop up on the outside, and we've got a break, and then back past the 3 of Rodney Wofford, who was your pole sitter, of course, well, sorry, front row starter, of course, And it's a gap of about a second back to Corey Henry leading that group with Joey Piccolella, Justin Levine, Ramon Evans, Garrison Hogan, Seth McCarrick, Matthew Almany, sorry, Frank Rosselli the third, and Joshua Swartz to spring up the rear there. He's dropped off the back, but there's another pack further back with them. So we've kind of got a pack that's dropped back to the very rear and it's kind of running together, holding on. Then you've got this kind of middle group and we have the lead pack. So lead pack still pushing. In fact, look up on the outside there, 37 and 77 running along with Brown in the 01.
Yep, I was just getting ready to call it out. The 01, the 7, and the 88 also joined up there, but they dug back down to the bottom. That was Greg Hooks and Mark Jorgensen. But with the 01, the 77 of Cozy Jr. down to the outside, with the 37 of Spencer Freed behind them, those two teammates are lined up with the 77 and 37. Can they get anything going? Now you have to Merchant jump to the top side as well. Should expect to see Coop jump to the top side if they can make it there, but he's already fallen back. So drivers like Champion, the 89 machine, can they get up to the top side and kind of start to work something up the front? So it looks like, who is that? The 46 machine of Richard Regan. He's now moved to the top side along with the 11 of Ricky Wall. So we're going to have a battle for the lead here, Rachel. The 21 doesn't know who to block. Can he get shoved into the sucker hole? As the 81 machine, he's got that damage on the front. He has no other choice but to push. As the 11 machine going into turn number 3, he's going to have a big push from the Art of Ruin Ford Fusion number 46 machine of Richard Regan. As they come out of turn number 4, can he get the momentum with Brown and Cozy Jr. as they're starting to split up? They're 3 wide behind them, but the battle for the lead is going to go to the 11 machine.
Sunny is, and well, the 3 wide's going to make this very, very interesting in terms of how this plays out. Are they brave enough to stay up there for long? They're going to start to drop down and find their ways in line. Big charge for the front there, the 11, Ricky Wall up front. We've got a bit of a shuffle here. In fact, 14 starter, 20th, 22nd, 27th, 28th starters up there inside the top 10. A massive shuffle around after those early crashes. And oh, DeMerchant, Bassini, and Wofford on the outside. They're back with this front group and they're pushing up on the top side, 3 wide.
Can't put a piece of paper between that 57 and the outside safer barrier here at Daytona, as he is not afraid. He's one of those drivers that's not afraid to run any sort of line, Rachel. And the outside lanes looking to try and pay off here is a little bit of a shuffle between and around your top 10, as it looks like the 7 machine and Jorgensen. That's a close fit between the 88 and the 7 machine of Greg Hooks. They make it work. A little bit of a checkup now, as a little bit of a bumper tag at the 77 had a checkup for the 7 machine. Everybody keeps it pointed in the right direction. Just as I say that, down on the back straightaway.
7 loses control on his own there. Greg Hooks loses the back end out of 2, and he taps the car in front of him. That is, I believe, yeah, that's Jarrett Schwartz there. Tags it, puts him into the outside barrier hard, head first. Tags Cozy, and a few others, and there'll be a few of those cars there who have no backup machine. DeMerchant got tagged heavily, but we know he has a backup there as poor old Jarrett Schwartz goes flipping down the infield. That's some big junk for some of these guys.
Unfortunately, I think it was actually the 43 machine who caused that, because right at the moment, right before the 7 machine who got hooked around, the 43 started to blink. I noticed that right out of the corner of my eye. And whenever he did, iRacing kind of lost track of where his car was going, and it was enough to put him into the door of the 7 machine, and then ends up causing a big wreck just inside the top 10.
Yeah, that was a huge wreck, but it was one of those one-off issues there, but not the most ideal situation for them, of course, and a lot of those guys will be now out, I think, because a couple of those, I think, have already used up their existing repairs, or should we say their backup cars, so that puts them in a very difficult circumstance when it comes to actually playing this thing out and seeing where they end up. Let's see what the numbers go through with.
Working caution here on lap number 32, so they are halfway through the stage here. It looks like Ricky Wall in the number 11 machine, he's showing pit here, Rachel, so they should be good to go till the finish. Problem is do any of these guys, are they going to have a car left? No? Not yet?
They won't make it to the end of the stage. No, this is lap 32. They'd need to be about 39, I'd say, to make it. And I don't think, even if they pit on the last lap of this caution, they'll be close enough. It'll be like 37. That's a long, long stretch.
drivers starting, they're going to hit some gas and goes here. Didn't see many tires go up for, so it looks like the 46 machine, he's actually going to be one of your first drivers to come off of pit road, but Ricky Wall will lead him down, or lead him out of pit road. Looks like a couple of guys did make some green flag pit stops during that last run, Rachel. Scott Warren, Dan Harrington, Robbie Lyons saw those guys on pit road, so the bad luck continues for the 49 machine. I've seen him down on pit road multiple times, along with Dan Harrington and Scott Warren. So 36, 37, 38, and 39th are all one lap down. Excuse me, 39th is actually 3 laps down. So he should get back to 2 laps down, I believe, during this caution.
Absolutely. I believe Mike Schultz is coming back off pit road. We have a number of these cars that are staying down there right now, including, I believe, Cozy Jr. is out of this one, unfortunately. No, he's back out. Oh, he might have escaped the last... No, he's got a very heavily damaged car. That thing is destroyed. I think Cozy Jr. could be done for tonight. That's unfortunate for him. He had a great run last season, but unfortunately this might be his race here, because he is not going to be able to maintain race speed at all with the damage to that car. So Seth DeMerchant 37 drifting ahead of him there. 57, no, it's DeMerchant drifting on the way out there. We need to get some Eurobeat blasting for him. Maybe the Deja Vu one Cisco was playing for us earlier.
Well, when in doubt, if the car is destroyed, just go ahead and do some drifting for it, or to it.
DeMerchant's got a clean car now. He had his backup, remember?
DeMerchant's car actually, no, it's looking pretty destroyed here for me. Well, it's not pristine, but it's also not destroyed. So DeMerchant's going to have a tough time here.
We'll have to take a look at this. No, that is actually pretty heavily banged up. Okay, I'm surprised, because I thought he had a backup, so... Interesting. I thought he had a spare car still, so that will definitely make things interesting. Because I thought this was his first wreck. I know he dodged the first big one. Wasn't sure if he was in the second one. In fact, I don't think he was, so... DeMerchant should be okay.
Well, in that little bit of a shake-up, Sean McCarrick, who started last, is now going to take over your lead. He practiced in a 4th position, so it looked like just a little bit of, bad racing in the duel put him back, but he did secure the final starting spot. Now, halfway through stage number 1, he is in the lead with Ricky Wall, Richard Regan Jr. in 3rd, Joseph Yilkins in the 4th position, Glenn Hendrick in 5th. So 2 of your drivers who are in the running for the Barstool bonus are up inside the top 5, but they have to win tonight's event, Rachel, to be able to walk away with the $10.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to be tough for some of these boys in the condition their cars are in, but we'll have to see how this one does play forwards. Of course, Greg Hooks is down and out. Harrington's on track, but I think his car is pretty... No, it's perfect, so Dan Harrington should be okay for this one. Further forwards, Sean McCarrick leading the way here. He's heading down pit road now, so that was him not intending to lead this race. He'll come down for his pit box and get service. Ricky Wall will be out front, the number 11.
A FedEx Express Toyota homage to Denny Hamlin will lead him down to the green flag here. Richard Regan in the number 46 machine goes to the outside. Joseph Yunkins in the 3rd spot. Glenn Hendrick, and then Jorgensen Jr. in 5th. So he hasn't been inside the top 5 since that early wreck. But now he's moved up inside. Now he's in 5th. He's going to have a good car here for the restart too. But he's also got a damaged machine for the 81 machine. I was actually surprised, Rachel. It didn't seem that far off pace the number 81 machine did.
It didn't, no, but we'll have to see how things go when they get actually out in terms of speed, because the front end is rather heavily damaged. We'll see how it plays out, of course. Richard Regan Jr. doing well up front. He's going to start on the outside rows. We're going to go back to green flag racing this time by lap 35. So, yeah, it's going to be too soon, of course, for a pit, but they'll be green to pit in about 5 laps. So the window will open there in 5 laps for a certain pit stop, I'd say. So I want to see what these guys decide to do.
And the one thing you're going to have to look out for, Rachel, when it comes down to it, how long do you wait? How long do you wait to come to pit road? Because you can come as soon as you're, as soon as the green flag, or excuse me, as soon as you're green lighted to come to pit road. Where the fuel numbers work out. But if you come down to it and the caution comes out, and you're about to run out of fuel, you may be out of luck. And I've been in that situation multiple times, along with a couple other people. So you can't wait it out to the final fumes. You have to kind of play this smartly as they come to the green flag here. Ricky Wall, Richard Regan Jr. in second. They're going to lead them down to the American Ethanol green flag. A big push coming for the number 21 machine of Glenn Hendrick as they come to the green flag.
And look who's up there with them. Front row starter Rodney Warford is up there with the front group, and he's pushing hard. Regan Jr. drops to the low side there, takes over your lead before we even reach turn number 1. A huge start for the outside lane. Good momentum for those guys as well as... Oh, Ricky Wall trapped down there on the low side. Now in second place. Look who's sneaking up on the bottom as well. Mark Jorgensen Jr. He started in third. He's worked his way back up here in that Bud machine. Doing a great job in this one. And oh, the Gatorade 21 of Hedrick has a bit of crinkle on the front end, but it's not doing too badly up front as they keep pushing away here. And wow, it's looking like a breakaway from 12 and 4 backwards. They are, of course, in about 11th spot. The 12, though, I don't see where he is in our running order, actually, because... Oh, no, there he is. So that's 13th to 14th with the shuffle, so about a second gap now between them and the cars behind them.
Yeah, I believe that's Ramon Evans, so he's not completely out of this thing in the 15th spot. I thought with that wreck that was going to be his final car. But that 83 machine is still in this. Meanwhile, up front, outside lane starting to die off. I thought Glenn Hendrick in the number 21 machine was going to be able to kind of put up a fight. But as soon as drivers started dropping down to the inside lane, I think it just kind of went away for him on the top side. So now, look at the gap. Can the 3 machine drop down below? He will. But that's going to close the gap, so the 21 machine is doomed to his fate of running to the back of this 12-car chain.
Absolutely is, and well, they're shuffling around in the front. Ricky Wall looked for an opening on Regan Jr. as his top 14 breakaway extends now. Hedrick up on the high side wants to try and find a way down, but he's probably going to have to shuffle to the back of this group to find an opening. Austin Coop's got up as well, and might have been a bit of a mistake there for Austin Coop to go up, but the gap closed below him, and he's got no friends apart from Hedrick, who's looking for his own way down. So Johnson Jr. has a peak, but decides not to go.
Yeah, I was seeing that. Jorgensen, he was just kind of putting his toe in the water, didn't know how he felt about it. But as soon as I got to turn number 3, he was stuck to where he was. So the 53 machine is also going to fall back towards the 21 of Glenn Hendrick and the 12 of Corey Henry. That's what I was talking about, Rachel. You get down to the final laps, not just in this stage, but of the race. You get down with 10, 15 laps to go. If you're riding single file, you have to have communication with not just you and maybe a buddy or two, but with 10 guys behind you, because if not, you're really not going to make that outside lane work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the outside needs a number of cars to keep it working, because with 1 or 2, you're not going to go anywhere, especially when the low side has such momentum and a short way around the racetrack. You need about 4 or 5 cars to really make a headway, especially when you've got to get the momentum going from the start as well. When you pull out, you're going to hit a big solid wall of air. And that really does impact how your race goes. You just haven't got the grunt anymore. So you lose momentum by first going out there, so you need a bunch of cars to keep it working, and Wall tried to go up, and Jorgensen Jr. looked, he comes back down again. Coop once again goes up, and the gap closes for him, unfortunately, so he's trapped once again.
Now, I gotta ask really quickly, with the amount of netcode that we've seen, the troubles between drivers' connections, if you're good at side drafting, do you attempt it? You know, like we see Austin Coop, he's getting a little bit closer to the 4 machine there on the inside lane. But if you're up front and you've got a fast car on the top side, you have to kind of pinch that low side down and take some speed off of them. Now, if you have somebody that's good at it, you could ride your way to the front. But if you have somebody who's not exactly skilled in it, you could have an entire wreck, like we saw in the beginning stages.
It certainly did, and we're seeing a couple of movements now as Junkins went up there. Look at how fast he's dropping back, as we get a bit of a build-up here now. Brown, Levine, Coop, 31 and the 81 now, going to be hooking up. Jorgensen Jr. decides to try and look for it. He cuts back underneath the 11 who went up to look. Did Jorgensen Jr. make the right move there, or is this outside line going to get the momentum it needs? They've got a number of cars now, which could really help them.
Might be
3 wide now, 81 goes too high, and it's 3 wide out of 4. This isn't a recipe for good things, as they keep trying to push and keep this momentum up into the tri-oval, where traction is really problematic, and the 01 got a bit of a wobble there, but he holds on to things. 24 now leads the outside line. 81 still trapped up on the high side.
Yeah, Rachel.
Pushing and pushing.
Rachel, when you said, did the 88 machine make the right move? I thought he did because he ended up gaining him the second position. But now if that outside lane could get organized, that may be short-term gain, long-term pain for that 88 machine because, you know, you see the 24, the 11, they've been fast on the outside lane. I thought they were going to have a chance to do it, but now it looks like that 88 machine is solidly in that second spot now with the 3 machine of Rodney Walford right behind him. The 3 machine jumps to the top side. So there's going to be a battle for the lead. Now they have the fastest car in town. That number 3 machine there on the outside lane. Can they get a push? If anybody knows how to side drive,
one goes round.
One gets turned.
Huge crash.
Travis
Brown.
Travis Brown in the infield here in turn number 1. It looked like contact between he and the 53 machine of Austin Coop. Coop ends up walking away scot-free, really, but it looks like the 0-1 into the 4 machine of Justin Levine as well. And he's going to slide into the infield. Huge hit, and I'm surprised that car was still able to drive.
Oh, a couple of those cars came back up the track. In fact, he did. Brown came back up the race. No, not Brown. Sorry, it wasn't Brown. It was one of the cars.
94.
Yeah, no, 57 did it. 57 of the Merchant, who, of course, had that problem and was damaged. He went to the grass to avoid the crash, but came flying back up the racetrack, actually in the air, and T-boned the 94. Huge impact there.
What a questionable move from the 57 machine because he could see the wreck happening in front of him. You know, he didn't have a lot of room, but he just jerks it right to the left and missed what was going to be a single car to 2 car incident and ended up turning it into a race-ending crash.
Oh, it absolutely did, and wow, what a problem there. That was a huge impact they had, and that was another weird one. Another car getting turned at the wrong point.
Well, lap number 44 here, Rachel. They should be able to make it to the end on fuel. Richard Regan, he stands to be the fastest cat in town at the moment, but he's got Mark Jorgensen and Rodney Walford right behind him. Those 2 guys are going to be a force to be reckoned with here on the restart. They should pit here because they're going to be good to go on fuel.
Oh, absolutely they are.
Yep, they're going to come down.
Be careful, though, with it because this is actually, no, they are actually good. You are right there. They're great from this point forward. So this is now a straight run to the end of this stint. I wondered if we'd have a caution to really dictate when they all pitted, or it would be a green flag stop. At the teams and drivers' discretion, of course, to choose when to pit in that long window they have of about 20 laps. So Liz has decided it for them now. Everyone's going to be in, everyone's going to get their fuel and probably tyres, and they're all out. So this shakes everything up.
Coming off of pit road should be Richard Regan. Looks like actually Sean McCormick. I believe the Sean McCormick machine is actually 1 lap down. So you have to wait for timing and scoring to sort its way through, but I think Richard Regan's going to sort his way back up into the lead. Lucas Cram, I believe, did stay out to lead a lap, but he may come back down the pit road.
Probably will, I believe, at this point. We'll have to see what they all do. Of course, the 11's got some damage on his rear quarter. It's not really affecting his speed, we've seen, but Ricky Wall will probably want to have that looked at, of course. Not sure if it's even registering for him to take repairs. Do apologise for the yawn. It's about 10 to 3 in the morning for me, so this is going to be a long race.
Going to be a long one, but LSRTV is here to bring it flag-to-flag coverage. It's only 10 o'clock here on the East Coast of the United States, so we got time, Rachel.
Oh, yeah, you got time.
That's what you get. You should have lived in the colonies.
It certainly is, of course. I should have probably done that, but unfortunately I don't, so we are where we are. Lucas Cram out front here. 44 machine at Ford EcoBoost Fusion. Leading the way ahead of Austin Coop at Neath. I believe the 53 there, although I think he might have been involved in an incident. No, Austin Coop is second. Bartlett and Bobby Lyons. Rod Flag, Brandon Kuzman's device there, so Flag, your pole sitter, getting back towards the sharp end.
Yep. Rod Flag started on pole, now back up to 5th. He was taken out in the first crash on lap number 10. Updating the top 5, Lucas Cram, Austin Coop. I'm actually surprised Lucas Cram did not come to pit road. Maybe he thinks that he can make it. Behind them, Victor Bartlett, who's been involved in many an incident here tonight. That 42 machine back up front. Robbie Lyons, who actually missed the start in that 49 machine. He was 2 laps down before he even turned a lap out on the racetrack. And your 27th place starter is now in 4th. As we said, Rod Flag in 5th. Brandon Cruz Montsevice in 6th, who has also had a tough night. Richard Regan in 7th. Mark Jorgensen Jr. in 8th. Chris Passini and Andrew Berger round out your top 10.
11th place will be Wofford with Ricky Wall, Corey Henry, Levine, Younkins, Cozy Jr., Jake Champion, Michael Almany, Ramon Evans, and Joseph Gorringe in 20th.
Drivers outside the top 20, 21st, Glenn Hedrick, who was your leader a few laps ago, now 21st position. Alexander Russell in 22nd. Daniel Holloway, Dan Harrington. Sorry, looking through it. Joseph Piccola in the 25th position, and the number 22 machine. Joshua Schwartz in 26th. Jarrett Schwartz in 27th. So the two Schwartzes there, 26th and 27th. Mike Schultz in 28th. So that's a Merchant, who we just saw involved in that accident, and along with Travis Brown, round out your top 30. Final few drivers: Scott Warren, Spencer Preet, Greg Hooks, Garrison Hogan, Sean McCarrick, who has led tonight, Raymond Rittenauer, Gary Champion, who's now 1 lap down, so he's continuing to work his way up through the field. Frank Busili and Corey Smith are both 2 laps down.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And well, we're going to get back to going green this lap by. The field is doubling up here. Cram and Coop on the front row. That'll be an interesting restart. We'll have to see how this one plays out, of course. We've got some fast cars in that front group, so we'll have to see how they run.
Looks like Lucas Cram trying to get everything he can into that fuel pickup, because he's running the apron through turns 1 and 2. I'm pretty sure the race admins will probably tell him to jump up to the top side, or excuse me, onto the banking, as he does there on the back straightaway. But he's gonna be walking a tightrope here, Rachel, on the amount of fuel that he has and if he can make it. Because what do we guess? He was about 5 laps short. And, if he pitted at the 1 to go and just kind of banked on a caution late, he might be able to make it.
Well, absolutely, but it's going to be very, very close to see if that works out. But, well, so far this race has been a race of interesting circumstances, so I look forward to seeing just how this one does play out for us here tonight. And, well, there's plenty of time left for this one to go. We'll have our half-time end of stage at lap 60, and we'll see how things shake out from that point onwards. Remember, we're going to start dropping cars now, as they have incidents, of course. A lot of people are running out. They're on their backups already, so this one could become a smaller race very rapidly. One big wreck and we could lose half the field. Pace car pulls off now and gets ready for the restart. Cram and Coop on the front row. Green flag back in the air. Racing near Daytona and a huge run. Oh, problems on the restart, as I just said. Caution flag is back out as Coop took the lead there, but that was a huge checkup. Reagan Jr. was slow. Wofford went to the low side, dodged the whole thing. Replay will come up for you there as Henry gets tapped by the 81 up into wall, and the quarterback is toast. Oh my gosh, that is a huge one on the restart. The cars pile up. It looks like a junkyard.
Corey Henry, looks like actually Corey, as they started to check up because the 44 machine was caught sleeping in the lead. He actually hit the back bumper of the 3 machine of Rodney Wolford. Rodney, I think, was able to get away pretty decently. And no, he actually did get turned, but it ends up collecting the 31 machine, the 4. A lot of drivers taken out in that accident.
Absolutely, that was a huge one for them, of course, but my gosh, that was pretty insane, actually, with the way things were going there, and I'm genuinely kind of surprised. That was... Unfortunately, checkups can happen on restarts, and it happened right there for us. We'll see what the shakeout is in terms of where drivers will run, in terms of anybody who's out of this thing. But I think we could see a couple of guys who might be in some serious trouble after this. Austin Coop, though, leading the way after that start. Impressive. Anyway, Folks, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. You've seen enough cautions. We'll be back in just a few moments.
I'm driving the number 20 JGR Toyota Xfinity car this weekend. Really great opportunity here at New Hampshire at my home track. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been on iRacing, practicing a little bit here and there with the modified and the NASCAR Xfinity car, so it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great tool for me to kind of get used to that stock car body again and be prepared for the race today. Well, yeah, it's a mile long, so the draft kind of plays into effect here with the modifieds, punches a big hole in the air, and we run restrictor plates. So it makes a big difference. Just really fast, and it's our Daytona. So that's what's great about it, and we have a fast car for tomorrow. I think the biggest thing is they're heavier cars. The tire's a lot different, and the way you go about setting them up is a lot different. They use all 4 tires more than a modified, where we typically drive off the right rear, you know, so. Well, actually, it's funny. I raced NASCAR race in 2003 before iRacing came about. And then when iRacing came about, my friend Kevin Iannarelli, who works at iRacing, kind of told me, hey man, you need to switch over to this. And when I did, I was like, oh my God, this is like real life. So I started using it as a tool of mine to really prepare for modified races, whether it was Stafford or Thompson or Loudon, Bristol. And then obviously the Xfinity Series last year, going to road courses, trying to get laps, and use it as a tool that can get me as prepared as I could be without actually doing it. So it's been great.
Welcome back to the Superspeedway Cup Series here on LSRTV, and well, the lap number 52 here, 8 laps to our restart, going green this time by, and Gabriel, that was a different restart.
Definitely was. 44 caught sleeping and stacked the field up behind him. Ended up taking a better part of your back half of your top 15 out of this race, or at least they all got damaged because it looks like everybody from 15th on back is at least a crinkled fender or two. But either way, this sets us up for a less than 10 lap shootout to lap number 60 here, Rachel. As they're going to come to the end of the first and only stage, and then they're going to get some fuel, get some tires, and get ready to make a run. About 3 more stops from the finish of the Daytona 500K.
Yeah, absolutely here, and well, that will give us a very exciting, interesting run to the end of this thing because, well, like I said, we're going to start dropping cars. More backups are being used, and wow, they haven't got much long to go, and we've got a chance to chat to Austin Coop during the break. He's out front here. They got a great restart on the outside. They're leading the way now, and it shakes everything up as the pace car's in. Green flag's out. We're back racing at Daytona.
Looks like actually a reverse of what happened. The 44 machine gets a good restart here. Little minus the gigantic wreck behind them, but as they come to the American Ethanol green flag down into turn number 1, the 42 machine of Victor Bartlett. Close shave from the 44 machine. Coop stays in it. He's going to teach the 44 machine a lesson. He is, as Coop said in the commercial, said he's not going to put up with anything a guy's chopping down on him. So Coop is going to be very aggressive here. He's got Robbie Lyons behind him. Rod Flagg to the outside with Victor Bartlett. They're going to try and get something started on the outside with Richard Regan in tow. And it looks like we've lost Rod.
We might have indeed. That's unfortunate if we have, but we're back out racing here, and we'll see how this one plays forwards, of course. Everyone trying to find a gap here, and Coop drops down. 42 is going to try and find a slot as well if he can. 46 looking for something. Flag is back, but intermittent as he drops down again here, and heading towards our 6 laps now to go to this halftime caution. And could it be a first-time stage winner in this one? Get some points on the table.
Lucas Cram actually had a little bit of connection issues as well. Austin Coop almost went to the outside of him whenever it happened. He thought better of it. So now your top 3 single filed out. And Brandon Cruz-Monsivais, who was in 4th by the time they got to the start-finish line last time by, he's now been overtaken. So now move the 88 machine of Mark Jorgensen Jr. from 6th now to 4th in line with Andrew Berger in tow. So it looks like he goes to the outside. He's going to have Robbie Lyons. Oh, and a fake move. He's going to show the outside lane and push the 49 to the top side. And that's going to leave him all by himself. And looks like we have the 53 machine inside the 44, so some connection issues going on between the 44 and 53.
Not ideal for those guys. That could lead us to another big hoo-ha on the racetrack. As the 88 Jorgensen pulls out here, looks thought about it, drops back inside. Everyone's trying to work on their, well, who do I work with here to get to the front here for the end, or can I? Is it worth it? Am I going to lose spots doing so? And right now everyone's saying, I'll say single file to the last second. Something tells me Coop and the 88 will make something happen here at the end, and probably Berger as well. Persini's up there. Let's not count him out for being involved in this thing.
Coop goes to the outside. There he goes. They got enough gap. This should work out perfectly. The 88 now moves to the bottom. He's done it again. You cannot. Now, with him doing that to people, they will remember what Jorgensen's doing. So wait for that later in the race. If a driver is starting to go with the 88 of Jorgensen, they may pay it back towards him.
Let's not forget, this is the classic Jorgensen. He's out for number 1 right there on the racetrack, and he does it every time. So this is the usual move.
And you'd think people would grow to learn. As Jorgensen goes to the outside, does Berger pull that move? Goes to the outside. Is he going to keep it with him? Yes, he will. So they're going to railroad the 44 machine, move Jorgensen to the top of the scoring pylon, with Andrew Berger now moving up to second.
Persini and 53 contact.
Oh, almost 3 wide now. 3 wide. Coop, he's going to get shoved out. He's going to have to turn that wheel hard to the left. Caution
Yellow.
out now. Yellow on the Speedway.
Jorgensen Jr. will take the stage win. Looking for what happened back in your... Oh, huge junk at the rear of your field.
Dan Harrington and Joseph Goringe. Yeah. And it looks like Ricky Wall.
Oh, big junk there. We'll keep an eye. We'll get a replay for you of what happened. And, well, it just happened ahead of these guys. In fact, it was in front of the 3.
Another big net code, Rachel.
Yeah, the 3 net codes. The looking at who that is. That's the 52. The other one goes up the track as well, and well, shenanigans occur, and there's a lot of drivers there completely trash.
unfortunate for these guys. Something may be wrong with the server or the service in general, because that's the third or fourth time we've seen netcode cause a gigantic crash, and that is unfortunate for these guys. They were racing 3 wide. Yeah, we saw an instance between the 3 and the 52, and at the same time the 21 and 01 got together, or the service thought that they got together.
I guess Rod messed up and put this on the Australasia server farm. 400 ping for everybody. To be fair, though, I mean, I'm looking here, Gabe, at the quality of connections and pings for everybody, and everything's in the green apart from like 2 drivers, so it doesn't make much sense that there's a problem here.
Yeah, it's got to be something with the server itself. We've seen stuff like that happen, but it's just really weird for that to happen, especially so often here tonight.
It absolutely is, and of course people are going to be sitting out here because we're waiting for our caution at 60, so there's a couple of guys pitting here, or is this actually going to be throwing in here? Is this going to be our lap 60 caution?
Not sure.
Okay.
We're just going to have to wait and see for the admin decision. I was sitting there thinking about how they're going to play this. This should be your lap 60 stage break, but you know that's going to put them in a weird position for pitting, Rachel.
It is. I mean, you'd think this would count as a lap 60 break as we cross the line really during this, so we'll have to find out what the plan is.
Wait and see what race control says here as Robbie Lyons gets waved around the pace car. So now that's going to put Jorgensen first driver behind the pace car. So your top 10, if this is indeed your stage results, Jorgensen Jr. up front, Andrew Berger in second, Victor Bartlett in third, Lucas Cram in fourth, Greg Hooks in fifth. Austin Coop did get shuffled, but it didn't go back too far. Now back to sixth, Brandon Cruz-Monsivais in seventh, and Joey Piccola in the 8th position, Raymond Rittenauer in 9th, and Jake Champion round out your top 10.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and we'll keep an eye on this till we find out what the running order will be, of course, for this end of the stage, shall we say. We will tell you as soon as we know what that's going to be, but as for now, we're still kind of waiting and finding out what that will be and how this kind of factors into this event, but as it stands, we are waiting to find that out. We're going to get those to you as soon as we know. But for the time being, it is very much a uncertainty moment for us here in the booth. We'll tell you as soon as we do have an answer to that situation. Looking at the positions though as they run, it's looking good for Jorgensen Jr. And
well, we got
over lap 60. Yeah, this will kind of tell us what's happening.
Well, we got the time looking back here. Daniel Holloway, he looks to be your biggest mover so far before he pitted it, actually. As, wow, he's sitting in his pit stall, but he sat in there for a while before he realized that the pit crew wasn't doing anything. So he's going to fall back here. Yeah, I still don't know what the indication is if these guys are going to be able to pit or not. And if if they don't, to the drivers who have nothing to lose back there, that could put them in a decent position.
Yeah, it certainly could, and well, like I said, we're going to have to find out what this runs with. I'm not sure if Rod Flag has told anyone what's going to go down here, but you know what? We're reaching our midway point here in the race. And of course, well, what we're going to come with is, of course, as we cross the halfway point in tonight's race, let's take a look at our iRacing Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing, the leading online racing simulation developed from the beginning as a centralized racing and competition service. iRacing organizes, hosts, and officiates races on virtual tracks all around the world. And in the fast-paced world of esports, iRacing is a one-stop shop for online racing, with officially sanctioned racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, World of Outlaws, and Global Rallycross now. So our positions as they run: Jorgensen Jr., Andrew Berger, Bartlett, Lucas Cram, Greg Hooks, Brandon Cruz-Monsivais, Joey Piccola, Ray Rittenauer second, Jake Champion, Rodney Warford is your top 10, Chris Bassini, Mike Schultz, Garrison Hogan, Richard Reagan Jr., Spencer Preet, Glenn Hedrick, Jarrett Schwartz, Michael Cozy Jr., Alexander Russell, and Scott Warren in 20th.
Gary Champion in 21st, Rod Flag in 22nd, Robbie Lyons, Corey Smith, and Corey Henry round out your top 25. 26th through 30th are Seth the Merchant, Justin Levine, Austin Coop, Daniel Holloway and Dan Harrington in 30th. Drivers one lap down are 31st on back Joshua Schwartz, Ramon Evans, Sean McCarrick, Ricky Wall, Travis Brown, Frank Busilia, Joshua Goringe, Matthew Almany, and your Barstool contender, Barstool bonus contender, Joseph Yunkins, is 11 laps down in 39th. This has been your iRacing Midway Race Break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iracing.com to sign up today. Thanks to our friends at Red Bull Global Rallycross. You can now visit iracing.com/membership and use the code PR-GRC for an opportunity to start your career in iRacing with 3 months for only $5. That's promo code PR-GRC for new members only. While we're riding down the back straightaway, I want to take one more moment to thank Sunwest Constructions for sponsoring the series. Founded in 1986, has grown into a premier construction development company on the west coast of Florida. Them, along with Barstool 49ers, are sponsoring tonight's event. As we cross the halfway point here, Rachel, it's been, completely different from what I expected. I told you during the initial broadcast that we were going to have a green flag stretch at the beginning, and it was completely opposite from that.
Yeah, absolutely was. And well, as it stands at this point, yeah, we've had a very busy first 60 laps of this race. Will the second half be the same way? We'll have to find out, of course. Pace car will pull in this time by. Jorgensen Jr. Andrew Berger, your front row. The green flag back in the air. We're racing once again at Daytona. Second stage to the end begins now.
Green flag out on lap number 62. Coming to 63, Andrew Berger on the outside lane, pretty much all by himself. Now is the 54 machine of Brandon Cruz Montsevice. He's going to be the nearest help with Raymond Rittenauer in tow. Brandon Cruz trying to find the space there on the inside lane. He's swerving, trying to find it. Looks like he's got a little bit of space in front of the 22 machine. 24 machine is now going to drop down, so that's going to put the 54 machine out front.
It does indeed, and it's a great place for him to be there. But 44 sticks behind the 42 of Schwartz there. 54 drops back on the outside. Probably not going to have much luck finding a partner until he gets much further back in this field, of course. Everyone rushing to single file yet again.
Top 5 continue to run single file back to Brandon Cruz. He's on the outside lane now, 3 wide between the 46 machine of Richard Regan Jr. He's trying to work his way back up to the field, led earlier. Now he's going to be the only help along with Seth the Merchant in the 57 machine for the Brandon Cruz. Looks like the 54 machine is actually going to move to the top side and let these guys go. He had lost all his momentum.
Okay, he kind of has indeed there, and that's one of those problems you'll have, especially when you're up on the outside. Momentum is everything. Takes forever to build it. Takes half a split second to lose it all. Regan Jr. drops down, and wow, it's going to be 43 looking for a hole now to try and get himself in. Jarrett Schwartz trying to find a gap. That leaves your top 16, 17, 18 cars all single file here. All the way back to the likes here of 37, Spencer Preet.
Spencer Preet continuing to cycle in that 19th position along with Daniel Holloway, and he's got the 49 machine right behind him, so they're trying to work their way. 49 machine trying to get these guys back up to the front, but they are too damaged to even really contend. Looks like the 44 machine actually, Lucas Cram, he has lost all momentum. What happened to him? Looks like he actually just dropped out. He just dropped low, and he's coming to pit road.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few cars there coming to pit road.
Out of fuel. So these guys coming to pit road, they didn't have the chance to pit underneath that caution because of it was the end of the stage.
Ah, interesting. That's really cost those guys then. But that's why nobody came down pit road, so that explains a lot.
So when will Jorgensen Jr. and Andrew Berger? This is going to set up one heck of a finish here, Rachel, because these guys, it's really two different fuel strategies. We saw some guys come to pit road, and we saw some of them stay out there for the stage points. It's going to be really interesting coming down to it, but single file out on the racetrack, they're all, this is really the indication I talked about in the pre-race show. if they were getting ready to come down to pit road, you'd see everybody try and work their way to the inside lane. It's been really aggressive here to try and get to the bottom side. I've seen here in the last few laps a little bit of contact between the 46 and the 21 machine in turn number 1. Those guys are trying to work their way to the bottom. Actually, the 31 machine and the 57 are starting to try and work the top side.
They are indeed, and it's not working as well as they might like just now. They're trying to push forwards, and here comes Monsivice. We'll go a lap down after that green flag stop, and not ideal to lose a lap, but it will be regainable depending on what happens in this race. As things get a little shuffly, up ahead of them there, 95, Garrison Hogan doing his best to keep it in line, but getting very busy there. He's in that Office Depot Ford Fusion. One of my favourite liveries, actually, that one. Up behind 57 of the Merchant, who's used his fast repair now, back up to speed. And he's running in 6th place, so the Merchant out of nowhere and Piscini, both relevant in this race.
Garrison Hogan, we've kind of just passed over that name tonight, but the 95 machine starting to show his legs here after the halfway break here on lap number 67. The 95 looking to show that he has some top 10 speed. He's on the outside lane. Jake Champion was sent to Merchant alongside him. Those drivers are trying to work their way up back to the front. They're side by side with Greg Hooks right now here, Rachel. Looks like they've been able to make a little bit of progress. If the 31 starts to side draft just a little bit more, they may be able to make a run at this.
Yeah, they may indeed. Wow. They're trying their best, but not enough cars are there to help them really with the momentum and the short distance to the low side. This makes the outside so hard to hold on to. I mean, they're trying, but there's now really 2 cars apart from Coop towards the rear, who's going to drop down, I think, as they catch up to a lap car when he decides where he wants to go. I think he's trying to hook onto this group in front of him. 42 will go up the track and get out of the way. 51 drops down, leaves the 46 on his own. Reagan Jr. out to try.
Richard Reagan Jr. jumped to the top side, trying to help out the 57 and the 31 machine, and the hole opened up below. And so the 2 drivers he was trying to assist to get up to the lead, they end up leaving him out to dry. So that 46 is going to have to drop back to the 21 machine of Glenn Hedrick. And those guys, it's, what are we now, a 13-car breakaway with the 22 machine and Michael Cozy Jr. in the 77 machine. Those guys are bringing up the rear of this little draft, so they don't have to go far to fall to the back. But still, you know, you kind of want to pit with your friends here, Rachel. And if guys start, you know, blowing past you, you may be in danger of losing the draft.
Oh, you may indeed, but the 42, he went a lap down and he actually managed to get himself in line. He managed to draft off a couple of those cars, keep him or gain some speed himself, and slot in line here. So he's with these leaders. So he'll keep relevant in this race. If you're going to wave around, he's in a great position.
Richard Regan able to find a place in line between the 43, and Garrison Hogan in the number 95 machine. So Regan back down to the 8th position. They're going to be single file throughout your front pack. Let's look back here throughout your field to see if we can find any battles, as guys are just trying to remain single file. We got a battle with Rod Flag, and is that the 91 of Alexander Russell? They're going to work to the outside lane. The 10 machine of Corey Smith and Rod Flag to the outside, trying to get the faster car to the front to lead this line. It looks like it's going to work.
Yeah, it certainly does look like it's going to work, and for now they're actually managed to keep this thing going. As lead breakaway there is huge now. 1 second really over the likes of the second group, a little bit further back, and that is led by the 16 of Mike Schultz. Schultz there holding on the best he can. He's got with him written out as second Holloway and Lyons, I believe, at the back, the 49 car in that 4 car. The next group is Rod Flag, Alexander Russell, Corey Smith, Spencer Preet, Dan Harrington, Justin Levine. Piccolella is actually just on pit road. Wofford on his own. Yeah, he's had problems as well. So a lot of these guys having to stop here in 1s and 2s are on their own, and this is unusual. People just breaking off and going into the pit road on their own. No one wants to come with them. So some split strategies really shaking this one up.
46 machine of Richard Regan Jr. back up front. He got to the bottom side, but I think he saw a couple of guys starting to work their way to the top side, and he went out there and he got hung out to dry again. Now side drafting the 53 machine of Austin Coop. It almost turned ugly as they kind of door banged down the super stretch last time by. As looks like Coop, he's now going to jump to the top side to help out Regan, trying to make up at least a few spots before they have to come down to pit road. Been now 11 laps as Coop tries to thread the needle, thinks better of it, so now he's going to stay on the top side with the 42 machine. Ooh, excuse me. He's going to fill that hole. Oh, it looks like we got guys coming down the pit road.
Mass pitting. Yeah, there we go. There's
Junior's going to lead them down.
Cars, 6 cars coming down. Jorgensen, Berger, the 7 of Hooks, 31, the Merchant, Bassini, and the 95 machine there of Hogan as well. All onto pit road for their service as a group here. This will benefit them hugely, of course.
Watch out for anybody that misses their pit stall. I think everybody got in pretty well. Gonna have to wait and see. And the gaps here is Jorgensen Jr. Right sides go up. And it looks like, oh, he's gonna take 4. Oh, Jorgensen takes 4, and he's gonna be in danger of losing the draft.
He'll hold with him. Berger's gonna stay with him here. Of course, their teammates, don't forget. So Berger's sticking with him. They've got a 2-car draft, so they should hold on just well enough. But this green flag cycle now, this will break up our field, and because we've actually got a cycle here, of course, Gabe, don't forget, this will actually really benefit the green flag nature of the next few sequences, because you get a green flag stop, everyone breaks up into 2s, 3s, 4s, and it's a lot less likely to crash.
We're going to close in. I think we're 50 laps to go this time, so we're closing into the final stage of this one. About, how far did you say on fuel? About 25 laps, so we're getting close. It's going to...
No, maybe. Yeah, we're really close on where people, some of the last people who are out will need to come in, but yeah, they're still 2 stops away from this, maybe 3 stops away from this.
Yeah, it might be 3 stops for the guys who had to pit a few laps ago, and maybe the guys who just pit. Because if they can make it about 25 or so laps, I'm not sure what the fuel run is, but if it's close like that, that might be an extra pit stop for your front runners.
Yeah, it certainly could be, of course. Wow, yeah, that's definitely an interesting position here, but look at this one now. You've got a big group formed up behind the car there of Jorgensen Jr. I believe those cars are actually a lap up there. It is, Reagan Jr. So they're about to go down a lap actually at this point as Schwartz, Cozy, and Reagan go past. Cozy leading this race technically as the 42 is down a lap. So there you go, great position for him to be in. No, it's Bartlett, sorry, the 42. So interesting, Cozy Jr. from wreck to leading this race. He's still in this thing.
Yeah, great racing here on the racetrack because you got guys on the lead lap 1 and 2, and then you got the drivers who were running 1 and 2 before the green flag pit stops. Also, I tried to do the math on the fuel runs, and my calculator burst into flames, so we're going to have to just take a rain check on the fuel numbers. But, you know, look for the checkup with the 88 machine. He's got stuck behind the 42 machine of Bartlett. As now, when do the 77 and 46 come in? Because I believe they pitted right before we went back to the green flag there. So they sacrificed their position at the caution to come back and get more fuel, and it may pay off.
Certainly might do, and I'll definitely open up our strategy play throughout this race and how this one does run towards the end, because like I said, this green stop has opened things up now, and we'll see a different style of racing towards the end of this thing as we do get these little smaller groups, and it becomes teamwork at that point, and who can hook up with who, and all packs gain momentum, but gaps between people are quite large. We've got 5, 6, 7, 10-second gaps now, so you really got these little pods of cars running around here, Gabe, and it changes our entire dynamic now to one of patience.
Oh, the 46 is pulling a smart move. He's going to take the lead here, Rachel, because he's going to pull to the inside and get with the lap cars and run past the 77 of Cozy Jr., so Richard Regan goes to the front for that lap. That was
nice
a really smart decision. Yeah, that was a really smart decision on the 46's part. Now, this is the question. How much are the 46 and 77 actually helping the cause? As the 12 machine, he's going to get loose in front of these guys. What happened to the 12? Oh, the 42 gets spun. 42 gets spun off the front bumper of the 88 machine of Jorgensen Jr. What happened there as they started to push their way down the back straightaway? Just an uneven bumper. And a poor lap car of the 76 machine just taken out in it.
77 though, he dodged that one like an absolute master. But this changes our entire second half strategy right now, of course, Gabe, because here on lap 79, suddenly we have a caution which bunches everybody up. It waves around the one lap down cars, which includes a lot of our fast cars. puts them back on the lead lap of this thing. And of course, a bunch of those lap down cars who, of course, Reagan got behind to push rather than passing them, means they were on the tail end of the lead lap. So they're back in this thing, like Jorgensen Jr., like Burgess. So this has flipped our race again.
That's going to put Richard Regan in control of this restart if they can come back to pit road without losing that much time to the guys behind them. But Rachel, I'm starting to see a little bit of the old Impala in the setup here with the Gen 6 cars. Because in the K&N Impala, or the ARCA car, as some people call it, you cannot push somebody in the corner and you cannot push them uneven. And the past few years, you've kind of been able to do that in these cars, but it looks like they've kind of reworked the physics, and it's not paying off for some of these guys. You got to remember, they get used to racing these cars so much because that's all they race in this league. Every week, they're running these super speedways, and a lot of these guys are specialists. So what they've learned over the past year may have been thrown out the window.
It absolutely might be, and I think things have changed a lot, but things, of course, are still changing, and these guys have adapted pretty well. They're used to this formula by now. They've had it for quite a few races now, so this is now more back to standard procedures. But of course, now things shuffle around, we'll have a full-on restart here, and this will really make things more interesting.
This should make them good to go on one more stop, I believe. Because if you get 25, you get to lap 105. Yeah, that should make us good to go on one more stop here, Rachel. So one more green flag stop or one more caution, and we should be good. And it looks like 21 on pit road. Glenn Hendrick, he was running inside the top 5, missed his pit stall.
Only thing I can say to that is whoops. It's one of those things these guys have done thousands of times in this series over the course of the seasons. They've all pitted at super speedways. Sometimes you still miss your pit box. It's just one of those things. Momentary distraction, changing a setting. Especially now, like you said, with the animated pit crews, the tolerance for your pit box is so much lower.
And it's not only that, you're in your pit stall, which I think iRacing kind of needs to work on, because guys who are getting flagged for not being in their stall, they are, but they're at too much of an angle or they're too far forward, and the lollipop man is no longer there. It's an actual pit sign that you have to get near. And it's a lot farther back in the stall. So the drivers are actually pitting, staggered back toward the end of pit road. So it's a whole nother deal that these guys have to learn again. And it's just like I said a second ago. What they've learned over the past 4 years, with pit stops, they're having to relearn all over again about how they need to brake coming into their pit stall.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. And Ramon Evans is out of this one now, I believe. He's now down and out. We'll give you a rundown of the drivers who are no longer in this thing. Victor Bartlett, Ramon Evans, Frank Basilio III is in but 9 laps down. Sean McCarrick in but 9 laps down. Joshua Schwartz, Ricky Wall, Travis Brown, Joseph Gorringe, Matthew Almany, and Joseph Youngkins all out of this thing so far. So as it stands, we have got, of course, 31 drivers still running out of 39 that started this thing tonight. And, well, now we have 28 on the lead lap. So this makes things a lot more interesting in terms of how this one will run now, because we've got a lot of these cars back together. A lot of guys have managed to get repairs done, fuel and tyres. And this is lap 80, so we have 44 laps to go. Wow, where's the race gone all of a sudden? It's nearly the end.
Nearly the end, but far from it. 44 laps to go, as you said. Greg Hook's now in the lead, started 9th, now up to 1st. And your pole sitter Rod Flag, it's taken him almost 80 laps now to get back up. But now he's in a solid position on the outside of the front row for this restart. Richard Regan loses the lead again through pit stops, but he's now in 3rd with Michael Cozy Jr. to the outside. But I believe Jarrett Schwartz, he actually came down pit road. So Schwartz being shown in the 4th position, but actually Cozy Jr. is going to inherit that spot.
Certainly is, of course, and well, this will be interesting. Greg Hooks, the number 7 out front, Rod Flag, Reagan Jr., Jared Schwartz. Actually, no, that will have to shake around, of course, once we get some waves in this thing, but we'll tell you that order as soon as we get too wided up here to get this one running. But, I mean, so far, fuel's been not a concern. So, it's one of those things that's going to be a real shake-up for these guys, is that we really need to find out, of course, when this thing actually plays through.
Lights are out atop the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car. Drivers continuing to get waved around, so that's going to put 28 drivers, as you said, on the lead lap. Your first and only driver 1 lap down is the 16 machine of Mike Schultz in 29th. Behind him, guys like Victor Bartlett, Frank Busilia, all drivers out of tonight's race. Sean McCarrick is now your next driver off the lead lap. It's still out there. He's 9 laps down in 33rd. Now up to 32nd, so the 52 starting to march to the field.
Senior, of course, and wow. Like I said, Greg Hooks, Rod Flagg, Rich Regan Jr., Michael Cozy Jr., Spencer Preet, Daniel Holloway, Rodney Warford, Justin Devine, Alexander Russell, and Corey Smith ready for this restart. That's your top 10. Green flag will come out this time around, and it will be on to lap number 83. And we'll nearly be on 40 to go very, very soon in this final rundown. In fact, you know what? I think we might just be tickling the underside of a one-stopper here.
Yeah, I said that it's going to be close, or it's not going to be close, it's going to be where these guys choose to come to pit road. You know, we saw that earlier, it was a split strategy. Now that's kind of out the window, but when do guys pit and who do they choose to pit with? That's going to be the biggest thing. Or we can get another caution and that's going to absolutely throw everything out the window. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Green flag comes back into the air. Good restart for the 23 machine. The 7 checks up the 46, 37, and the 3 machine. And it looks like the 26 machine of Daniel Holloway. That car is beaten, battered, but he's now up inside the top 5.
I think he could do with some Gatorade because that thing's lagging a little bit. As we got, I heard squealing behind them. Oh, wrecking in turns 1 and 2. Looks like our days in the yellow are not over yet. And, well, you know why that happened. This time it wasn't anything to do with netcode. We had Austin Goop, Chris Piscini, the 31 of Jake Champion, and the 82 belonging to Dan Harrington. 4 wide there. 31 comes up, taps Piscini, turns him round. Shenanigans occur. Big damage there for the 88 of Jorgensen Jr., so he could be in real trouble for this race. As, well, this is why you don't go 4 wide on a restart, boys. I hate to say it, but 4 wide on a restart at Daytona has never worked in the history of anything.
And that was actually caused not by your top 2 drivers up on the top side. The 31 actually got into the 82 on the restart there, Rachel, and ended up shoving him down to the bottom. He was able to get it back above the yellow line, but the 31 gave him room, and ended up, the momentum just carried him 3 wide, and the 31 did not hold his line going into 1. Ends up taking out a few favorites, Chris Piscini, along with the 88 machine of Jorgensen Jr. He also gets taken out.
I'll have to see how some of these guys can repair those cars, because I don't think many of them have got backups left.
So that's going to whittle down your field here at Daytona. Greg Hooks, Richard Regan, and Rod Flagg, your top 3 still. Didn't change much off of that start. Rod Flagg and Richard Regan swapped spots there as the 23 machine lost a little bit of momentum on the start there, Rachel.
Yeah, it did a bit. And, well, we are going to go to a quick commercial break, folks, whilst we sort this one out and the running order gets shuffled. We'll be back with you in a few moments' time.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
When I was 16 years old, I was working in a Goodyear tire store, and my boss actually built an old dirt car, street stock Monte Carlo. Went with him one night, fell in love with it. It was a hell of a race, hell of a party, and a big fight afterwards. I was like, this is it. This is it for me. It wasn't long after that, I was driving an old 78 Camaro out of the weeds at that guy's farm. We pulled that thing out and made a race car out of it, and away we went. You know, I think a driver has more to do with the equation going back and racing dirt, whether it's a modified, a late model. You can do more with the race car. You know, the harder you drive it, a lot of times, the better it goes. You can crawl up on that wheel and feel like you made the difference at the end of the night. Asphalt car, you can't overdrive them. Well, that was the first thing that I had to learn right off the bat is, oh my gosh, I've got to discipline myself, not overdrive this thing, and that's how you get the most out of it. Truth be told, communicating the right information to your crew and your crew chief so they can do their job and make their appropriate adjustments for you to go faster and do your job is probably 90% of the game in our world. I've always loved late models. You know, my dream was to be a late model driver driving for a living across the country like Daryl and Don do that drive for me. I mean, that was, truth be told, that was my dream, you know. I always wanted a semi. I always wanted a stacker trailer with 2 hot rods in it and let's go racing. Let's take off with your buddies and go race and chase that dream. Never in a million years did I think it would turn into a Cup Series, and I actually have an opportunity to own 2 you know, dirt late model teams. When you think of iRacing, you don't think of a video game. It's not. It's way above and beyond any of that. You know, dirt racing changes so much. The track changes so much. Being able to capture that, to, you know, experience all those details that surround dirt racing and make dirt racing what it is what makes iRacing so cool, because they did nail all of that. I knew when they came to our shop and scanned cars and went to the detail of getting that car right, I knew that it was going to be over the top, because it blew my mind just the work that went into making sure the car itself was legit. This sport has been around a long time. The competition can't be replaced, and that's what brings people back to the racetrack week in and week out.
Welcome back to Superspeedway Cup Series here, lap 87 here of 124. Come back to the restart. Greg Hooks, Richard Rager Jr. your front row with Flag and Cozy Jr. on the second row. It's been some shenanigans so far in this one, as we've now lost Jarrett Schwartz and Victor Bartlett along with others. Sean McCarrick is now completely out, as is Basilia the third. Everybody else is out basically, so now we have, I believe, based on my numbers, 28 cars running, all of whom are on the lead lap. So it's a free-for-all. Pace cars in, green flag flies. What will happen next? Place your bets now.
Remember, these guys still have to come to pit road one more time to be able to make it in about 10 to 15 laps. So it's going to be one heck of a number crunch here in the final few laps as Richard Regan gets a great jump on the restart, but it's going to be a closer, tight-knit line there on the bottom. They're going to go side by side through turns number 1 and 2. 26 machine of Daniel Holloway. Little bit wiggly there on the bottom, but I mean, that's to be expected with the amount of damage on that 26 machine. Really surprised he's that competitive here, Rachel.
Oh, and you know what? They just proved us right again, because they just demolished each other on the backstretch. Not even, again, a full lap after the last time we didn't get a full lap. And this one, we're going to replay it for you. And, well, the 21 pushed in the corner of the 4. And unfortunately, the 4, just in the vine, decided to exit stage right into the Armco barrier. Well, the safer barrier in this case. And kill about 12 cars. So, We're back on the yellow here at Daytona.
Yeah, questionable push there on the 21 machine to the back of the 4 of Justin Levine. They came down the back straightaway, he just was offline by about half a lane and decided to lay into the back bumper, and that just sent him right around. Collecting drivers like the 89. Looks like Jorgensen actually was able to make it through there, but Justin Levine took a wild tumble. A couple of the drivers went through the grass to make it through, but Dan Harrington also taken out in that.
He did indeed, and wow, quite a few cars got taken out in that one, so we'll have to run up a body count for you shortly and find out who is still in this race. A number of cars got absolutely walloped in that thing, but I believe Justin Levine is definitely one of them. And, well, the front of your field's still basically intact as that happened towards the rear yet again. And I think I might not be sleeping tonight with the way this is going.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you wanted your Daytona 24 broadcast on LSRTV. Here we go. Greg Hook still in the lead, lap number 90. And, it's just, don't want to badmouth, the racing here, because you get races like that. Guys, they're learning, the new build on the cars. They're learning how the cars act in the draft and how you can push with them. You get later in the season, you'll get clean races. We had one in the shootout 2 weeks ago, and it's just the nature of the beast here at the Superspeedways. You get races where it's, it's a crash fest, and you get races where it's green flag running, and you get, thankfully a majority at the green flag running here in the Superspeedway series.
Oh, you absolutely do, and of course, then again, the duels were exactly as we expected them. One's a wreck fest and one's green flag. That's basically NASCAR law. That's how it has to go. You actually get a good race and you have to entertain the fans with one of them. It happens apparently in sim racing too. As here, well, apparently these guys wanted to decide the winner of the 500 by basically having one car left, which could feasibly happen with the way this is going. As I believe one car just decided to take the dog leg. Yep. That was Austin Coop. So Austin Coop decided to take the bus stop. Yeah, Austin Coop takes the bus stop. I think someone, he missed it absolutely completely because apparently he's unable to turn right, which explains a lot about Austin Coop's driving. But I can say that because he's LSRTV. But yeah, wrong race. If you're running 24, maybe this is why these guys are confused. They're running the, of course. We've got a replay of Austin's run through the grass there, trying to take the bus stop. And Austin Coop, if you are planning on running the Daytona 24, that's not how you take the bus stop. And if these guys maybe thought they were perhaps running the 24, maybe this is where we've been going wrong all the time. Maybe they've all been trying to turn down for turn 1, huh?
Yeah, I got some tips for Austin there. You're gonna have to run over that curb a little bit more aggressively. You're also gonna try not to drift it through the second part of the bus stop. So he's gonna have to practice
Stay off the grass.
Yeah, that's also a good tip.
Certainly is. Anyway, we're going to be running here now, getting ourselves back in line. Lap 91 at the moment, so about 10 laps or 12 laps from this point, we'll see people head to pit road for that final stop. Will it be our final stop, though? You know what? As the clock ticks close to 4 in the morning, I don't even think it will be the last stop. I think we're going to have at least one more yellow flag before the end. Maybe 2, but based on trends of going half a lap or quarter of a lap and then a caution at the moment, we'll have to find out.
Like I said, Rachel, you should move across the pond to the colonies. You guys got James Pike. We could get you on a different schedule here because you have nights like these and you run a little bit late, but you have no problem with it because it usually pays off to see some good racing at the end.
It certainly does, and wow, we'll have to see how this does go forwards in terms of our racing. And you can't convince me to move to the colonies. You could try, but it's not going to work. Regardless. And at the moment, running through our top 10, Greg Hooks, Richard Rager Jr., Rod Flagg, Michael Cozy Jr., Rodney Wofford back up there in the 5th spot, Spencer Preet in 6th, Alexander Russell, Corey Smith, Robbie Lyons, and Austin Coop in 10th place. So, messes up the bus stop, still in 10th place. Congratulations, Austin Coop.
He gets a gold star.
He gets half a gold star. He gets basically a gold triangle.
He gets a gold circle. He doesn't even get the point. But Greg Hooks,
a black flag. Get off the track, Coop.
Yeah, come up in the booth with us. But Austin Coop doing a good job running in the 10th position. Worked his way from 30th up front. Think got caught up in some accidents. Worked his way back up. And I believe we had
the restart.
Well, we had Austin Coop in there for a second, but I think he moved back out.
I went down there and told him to stay off the grass, and then I came back.
Yeah, we need to get a keep off grass sign for Austin Coop, but I don't think he'll listen.
I've just painted one of his new cars actually for the RSR series, and you know what? It's bright green. I may actually have to paint stay off the grass on the back of it for him instead. But anyway, I digress. We're back to the restart now. 2 wide for this restart. And in fact, we actually have Austin Coop here with us from 10th place. Real quick, Austin Coop, why'd you do it?
Well, I needed to make sure I was hitting my marks for tomorrow, and clearly I need some maybe extra practice right after this, but...
I'd say extra, I'd say just start from fresh, because apparently you can't do the bus stop.
No, I got a question.
Well,
are you pursuing a sponsorship from John Deere Mowers?
Well, to clean the front end, I mean, I do have a green car now, so, it kind of works with the color scheme we've got here.
We literally just said that. I'd have to paint stay off the grass on the back of it though this time, but we'll let you get back to the racing. We're about to go green, so best of luck to Austin Coop and the rest of the field here as we get ready for the next caution as they check up massively on the outside already. That was a bit early to start checking up, boys. Wait for the green flag to drop first. Pace car's off, and we're ready for the restart. Lap 92, green flag flies. And it's a pretty even restart, actually, from both lanes. They all managed to find out where the go-pedal is. Apart from the 76 who forgot.
Richard Regan to the top side. Can he get the run? The 7 machine. Oh, somebody gets turned back in the...
They forgot.
The 37 machine of Spencer Preet turned into the outside wall. Back under caution here at Daytona.
70 car. I believe that was a 70. I think we have a 70 in the field.
I believe it was a 10, the 10 car Corey Smith.
That was a 10 car. Corey Smith decides to push him and outside wall and yeah.
Same deal that happened last time, just pushing on the corner, and he gets into the outside wall, takes out the cars behind him. A couple of guys check up back in the pack and under caution yet again here at Daytona. And this will put us...
actually not huge crowd. Oh no, it was huge. 3 cars that got stuck up top, and Hedrick, 76, the 18. General carnage. Once again, we manage a quarter of a lap before they blow up again. So sarcasm keeps rising. You know those meme videos on YouTube where it's such and such a song, but every time something's said, it gets faster? Yeah, every time someone brings out yellow, this one gets slower.
Lap number 94 here at Daytona. Richard Regan, he inherits the lead from that, so Greg Hooks will lose it. Rod Flag now moves up into 3rd. Go down the backstretch here at Daytona under caution. Yet again, we're closing in. Rachel, this should... this will get us close on the fuel mileage number, but I don't believe it'll get us all the way there.
No, they're a lap or 2 short, I believe, because we'll go back to green at about lap 99. They'll be 3-4 laps off. 4 to be safe. So they want another caution, basically.
Well, while we got the chance, let's go ahead and talk to Austin Coop again. We're not done messing with him. Austin,
we're not indeed done messing with Austin. Yeah.
Huh?
I said we just never get tired of messing with you, Austin. You end up getting a little bit of damage in that wreck. How's the car feel?
Well, it feels pretty terrible, but the good thing is that we've got a backup still. I think I'm probably one of the last ones to have one after tonight, so... Yeah, I'm getting my pit box now, so realistically, I still have a really good chance at it. I mean, I'm sure everyone's got a modified out there, or I mean a damaged race car. But yeah, I should have a good chance at still getting a top 10 here. I also want to say sorry to Chris Bassini. I took him out under caution, and I'm getting a penalty for it, so yay.
Now, Austin, I gotta ask, you know, we've seen it from the commentator's perspective, but what do you think is the main contributor to all these cautions? And we know this is an outlier with the Superspeedway series, especially with the number of cautions we've seen tonight. You know, what do you think is contributing to it?
Well, in the last couple wrecks, especially the one I was just right behind, I mean, some guy's slow and he's just right in front of guys who are really fast, and the guy behind either doesn't want to go up or the damage car doesn't want to get out of the way. So we just end up playing the game until someone pushes too hard, or you know, that's kind of what that last one was. But when you start to talk about all the rest of these cautions, there's just there's some bonehead moves that have been going on here, and I think that's all you can really say. I mean, I've made my share of dumb moves, but I think that's what's contributed to these cautions. Really, it's the opening race. Everyone wants to get to the front and win.
All right, Austin, we'll let you go here for the restart. Good luck with the brand new car. So hopefully you can keep the fenders on it.
We'll see.
So that was everybody's favorite mower man, Austin Coop, in the number 53 machine.
Yeah. John Deere, if you're watching, you've got a new driver if you're interested. Well, just to kind of slightly randomly shoot off tangent, Gabe. A couple of people in the comments just actually asked, you know, does Rachel drive? You know, I've made a lot of comments in terms of driving and where people are pushing, and I don't think I've actually covered this. Whilst we're here under caution, I might as well just drop into it for a quick moment, so that, yeah, I used to drive. I'm kind of the retired driver commentator, actually, when it comes to this stuff in LSRTV. I drove over almost exclusively for about 4 or 5 years now. Spent about 2 years pit crewing and spotting for a driver, a teammate in the NIS, and it's been a long time for oval stuff for me, so I know a little bit about oval stuff. I wouldn't say I'm an expert by a long stretch, but I've done my share of oval racing, mostly a short oval driver by preference, but, you know, the short track stuff I always found the most fun. I don't know about you, Gabe, but I've done my share of super speedways, so I'm no noob to this stuff.
Neither am I, Rachel. I actually really enjoyed the super speedways here on iRacing, especially in the B cars and the C trucks.
Personally, I hate them, actually. Of all the races, super speedways are the ones I hate, because it's the one race where my own fate is not in my own hands.
Well, see, I find ways of controlling my own destiny. I don't know. I've always been really good at, you know, kind of, well, I say that it's usually either feast or famine for me. I either win or finish in the top 3 and gain some rating, or I get taken out within the first 5 laps. But with
that's super speedways to me. You know, you find out that if you can start at the front, you tend to be great. But if you're not, then one random person's moment of derp and your race is trash.
But yeah, I find that the B cars and the C trucks draft a lot better, just because they kind of have a blocky front end. You know, they have the aerodynamics of a cinder block, and they punch such a big hole in the air, especially the truck, and you're able to, you know, you're not confined to racing 2 separate lines and seeing who can get up to the front. You can kind of work your way through the field and, you know, feel your way out. You know, with the A car, the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup cars, you're kind of stuck. You're either in a really good draft with 2 guys on the outside, or excuse me, with 2 lanes, or it's just a single file procession, which, you know, we've seen both tonight, and unfortunately with the drivers hitting on the right rear, you know, it's turned into a bit of a yellow fest.
Yeah, it certainly has. And well, we're going to go back to green in just a second. Hey, if you're on the pit box or you spend time spotting for a driver like I used to, check out Joel Real Timing. Joel Real Timing, of course, coverage of the Superspeedway Cup has been the LSRTV, of course, is brought to by us. It's our official timing and scoring software. Whether you spend your time behind the sim on the wheel, the spotter stand, or pit box, JRT is the go-to software for iRacing timing and scoring analytics. Get yourself a basic download or go pro at joel-real-timing.com. That's joel-real-timing.com. And it'll tell you the same thing I'm about to tell you, that the pace car's about to pull off. And we're about to go green flag racing here at Daytona on lap number 97. Reagan Jr. and Greg Hooks on the restart, and it's, for now, a good one. We'll see if we make it past turn 2.
When they take the green flag, we get a caution here. From now on, these drivers will be able to make it to the end of the race on fuel. It's the 7 machine of Greg Hooks to the outside. Can he get anything going with the 77 behind him, Michael Cozy Jr.? Rod Flag now back up front, but he's in tow of the 46 machine as they go down the back straightaway. Big run coming for the outside lane between the 7, 77, 10. And now you have Jorgensen Jr. and Andrew Berger, who have been inseparable the past 90 laps. They're now working their way back up to the front. 2x2 procession back through about 12 as they come onto lap number 99.
Interesting thing there, Jorgensen Jr.'s hood is crinkled up. I don't think he's got a backup car left, so his chances of leading this race are pretty slim, I'd say, based on his damage, but clearly enough speed to stay in the pack, so a late race move might be possible, or at least a good finish here for him on points. Same will go for Wofford. He's got a crinkled up hood as well, so there you go. It's one of those things that might actually have an option, but I don't think they're looking at the winners. Flag, though, has kept himself relevant for the majority of this race. He's in second place right now. That's looking really positive.
Update on Austin Coop. Restarted in or outside the top 20. Now he's drafting with the 21 machine of Glenn Hendrick. He just said under caution that he has a brand new car as they go 3 wide up to the front. I believe it was the 10 car that got shoved to the outside lane. Yes, he did. So it looks like it's the 7 of Greg Hooks. Now he's going to lead that line again. They were able to get up to the second place spot, but now they've slid back a little bit farther. It's now the 88 and 24 now jump to the top side yet again. It's the inside charge being led by Richard Regan, Rod Flag, Rodney Wofford, and Robbie Lyons.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and well, we're going to see this one unfold in a moment as the outside line starts to try and gain some momentum, but not got as much grunt as they would want, I think, here. 4 very potent cars, including, of course, Cozy Jr., Jorgensen Jr., Andrew Berger. And the 7 there, Greg Hook's doing a fantastic job there in that Rockstar Energy number 7 Chevy SS. The inside line, though, is obviously going to always be the stronger one. But it's starting to gain some speed and move forwards. This could be a big one for them on the backstretch for gaining spots here, but I think once they get a Cook out front, if he drops down, that outside will drop away. But Berger's look caution again.
Caution, I didn't see anything. Oh, it looks like guys outside. Wow, in a second draft.
Oh, yeah, it was around, I believe, the 18 spot, or the number 18, I should say, 19th position. And wow, this is through the tri-oval. And I'm looking now, we're going to replay for you. The 18 had a problem. 18 goes high in the tri-oval, and we'll take a look at this on the replay camera for you. 18 goes high, bump drafts 16, goes up a bit, drifts down and just railroads the 22 car of Joey Piccolella, causing that problem there on the racetrack. Only those 2 involved really in that crash, so minimal collateral damage, I'd say. Surprising for a super speedway, but that was unusual as a crash. He just came down like he was clear. Well, now they'll make it to the end if they get a pit stop, because this is it. Everyone comes in for their final stop, and they are good to the end now.
Well, it actually, Rachel, I think as Gary went to the outside, he actually, the transition from the level banking of this front straightaway, he actually got loose. Like the grip just kind of went away on that number 18 machine, because he was turned to the left, and the car just kind of started to rotate more and more as he entered the oval.
Yeah,
so that's gonna put the 18 and 22 both out of this race.
It is, and that's them both down and out for this one. And we're going to restart the shuffle up here. Flag's going to start front row here for this restart. That'll be good for him. And inside line will have, of course, the machine there of Rodney Wofford, the front row outside starter in this one. And yeah, this should be our last stop here, hypothetically.
I'm actually stuck on my camera, so give me just a few minutes here. Here we go. Alright, for some reason I was stuck on my camera, I couldn't actually see anything. But as these drivers are going to come down to pit road for hopefully the final time, Richard Regan is going to lead them down. He's going to be the first of your top 2 to hit his pit stall. He's going to slide it in. He missed it. He missed it horribly. He had to back up about 4 times, so the 46 machine overslid. I believe he was at the wrong angle as well, so horrible, horrible turn of events. So that's going to put the 23 machine on Rod Flag. He's going to win your battle off coming off of pit road.
There you go. That's a big shake-up for the books, as we didn't expect it to go that way around, but apparently it does indeed here, as mistakes were made. Coop didn't pit. This is... oh, interesting call, because we know he needs to come in for fuel at some point, so is this a bit of a mistake he's made?
Gonna have to wait and see if Austin Coop comes back down to pit road. You remember under that last caution, he did come down. Is he just expecting another caution?
Could be, but who knows?
Prior knowledge would say that we will get one, but you never know what could happen here with 20 laps to go. If he's not good on fuel and we don't get another caution, he may be, you know, in the catbird seat. Being like one of the only drivers to run out of fuel.
Yeah, that would be an odd way of describing the situation, but yeah. But Coop's in a very good position. I think we will probably see another caution. I think it's almost a guarantee, but it's a brave decision this late in the race to make when you've got an option to pit here. It puts him in a fantastic spot in terms of where he runs now in the field, but that's optimistic.
Oh, Rachel, I'm from South Georgia. I have a lot weirder sayings than that.
Well, I've never heard anyone say that's put them in the catbird seat for running out of fuel.
Well, yeah, that was yeah. It's late. Not as late as it is for you.
No, true.
But through a turn of events, Glenn Hendrick ends up going back to the lead. It looks like
that helps him, certainly.
Yeah, actually, Glenn and Austin were drafting there in the right before that crash happened. They were trying to work their way back up to the field. I believe they were 16th and 17th on the track. So that's going to put Rod Flagg down into third, and Rodney Wofford on the outside. So your pole sitter and your outside pole sitter are now going to line up third and fourth on this restart.
Yeah, they are, and that will make things very interesting for this one in terms of to play out for the future of this race. So these guys are all in a fairly reasonable spot in terms of taking this forwards. We'll have to see how that does evolve for their actual race in general, but well, there's a lot of time left to go with it, so we'll keep our eyes on that one and we'll see how it plays forwards. But this does mean there's a lot of time to make this a very interesting race.
20 laps to go, and they hit the stripe this time by. We should be at the 2 to go. We're going to give you an updated running order here whenever they cross the start-finish line. Glad you stayed with us here because we're about to hit the 2-hour mark of tonight's race, and I'm glad all of you have stuck with us so far. 65 people watching. Rachel, this may not have been the cleanest race, but we've got one heck of a group of fans watching us here on LSRTV.
Oh, we do. It's incredible to see you guys sticking with us for all this thing, and hopefully some of you have been here from the dead start like we have. And it's not been bad. I mean, the IROC race we had at the beginning of this was fantastic, I've got to say. So it's all, you know, up in the air.
And when we've gotten green flag racing, you have to kind of factor in, we've had, what, 4 netcode incidents? You take those away, it was a pretty decent first stage. It was a very clean first stage, actually. Now I think the intensity's picked up. We haven't had the chance to run green flag because guys are wanting to get back up front. But when we've had green flag racing, it's been pretty good. Guys, you know, like Jorgensen Jr. fooling guys to the outside, going to the outside, and as soon as they go with him, he pulls back down and takes the advantage. You know, we've seen moves like that all night, and it's made it really exciting. And, you know, inside 20 laps to go, if we don't get another caution, this could be a great run to the finish.
Oh, it absolutely could. And you know what? I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one does develop forwards, because we've had such an exciting play out for this, and I'm looking forward to that extending into the end of the race.
Down the back straightaway here for the Daytona Super Stretch past Lake Lloyd, now to the bus stop. And Coop doesn't have the opportunity to go down it and miss it this time. He's got a race to win. Glenn Hendrick will start on the front row alongside Austin Coop. Coop actually led that last lap, so I don't think Glenn's going to really appreciate that one. But Glenn will be your initial starter for this restart inside 20 laps to go, Rachel. Anything can happen, and especially anything can happen for Austin Coop and Glenn Hendrick, who have not come to pit road. So they have a very vague amount of fuel on board those two cars.
Yeah, absolutely. And that will really kind of show up in this one in terms of how it goes. And we're too wide now. The pace car's about to drop down. 19 laps to go, and green flag flies outside, didn't go. Austin Coop slow on that restart with his brand new car. That gets tapped from the 3 of Rodney Wofford. Hendrick goes fast on the inside along there with Rod Flagg. Can he go pole to victory in the Daytona 500? That would be the dream for Rod Flag. What a way to start a season for him. The man with a car in pristine condition, and the dream is alive. I've got to say, Gabe.
Can you get that number 23 machine to the front? But he's got two guys to go through. He's to the inside of one of them, Austin Coop. Down the back straightaway. Can he get past the 21 machine of Glenn Hendrick in the front position? Mark Jorgensen Jr. in tow right behind. So it's been 106 laps, Rachel. These guys all got involved in a wreck on the initial lap number 10. It's taken almost 90 laps, and they're all back to where they should be up front. And look at Rodney Wolford. That car is absolutely destroyed, beat up, but he's still up inside the top 5, trying to go after this win in the late stages.
Yeah, absolutely is. And, well, so far it's going to be really, really exciting to see if they can pull this off. I'm looking forward to it because there's a lot of potential for this to be a really cool race. Especially now towards the end. We know we've got a run to the end here with no stops. If this stays green, this could be fantastic in terms of who can get themselves up here. Monster Vice is back there, who could be a real factor in this race. He's got a good car. Piscini has been quiet but competent. De Merchant is up there with a great car. Berger, I mean, Wofford has damage. Jorgensen Jr. has some damage. Coop is up there. Flag is up there. Hedrick's up there. There's some of the superstars in this series ready to kick ass.
Yep, and no matter how long the race is and how many wrecks there have been, the cream usually rises to the top. Guys like Austin Coop, as you said, Chris Piscini, those guys were involved in a wreck not 20 laps ago. And now Chris Piscini, I believe he had a car in reserve. He's able to get back up front. Richard Regan, who's led multiple times throughout the night. Michael Cozy Jr., who finished second in the IROC race about 3 hours ago. Or excuse me, 2 hours ago. The start of it was 3 hours ago. But, you know, guys like him, Rodney Wolford, who won the thing, still a wrecked race. Close to, I believe it's 15 laps to go.
15 to go, and there's a long way left in this race, but oh, and there we go. Problems on the racetrack. Yellow flag will fly, and Austin Coop, who had a backup car, the netcode monster strikes, and Wofford wipes him out, wrecking there. Poor old Austin Coop, and he is not the only one, I believe, because I think someone just up the road from him also plowed, and I think that was Wofford. It was, so Wofford might be out of this thing already. Austin Coop, was that his backup he already had?
Yeah, that was the one he used because he was caught up in that wreck about 30 laps ago. And something is going on with the iRacing service, especially here at Daytona, because that is about the 5th time that has happened tonight. That may want to get some recognition from the iRacing service team.
That really may. What a breakup there for that is. Wow, that is a big problem.
Sorry, looking back through your, looking back at your replay, Glenn Hendrick's still in the lead, but gotta feel for Austin Coop. You know, guys who were, you know, that should not have been a wreck. You know, that in no way, shape, or form should have been a wreck. And there's guys who just lost a chance at a victory to begin the season with that. You know, it's just so heartbreaking. There's getting wrecked, and then there's getting wrecked in something that should not have happened.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just unfortunate when this sort of thing happens in a race here, and unfortunately it's going to be one of those elements that will happen. You know, these guys are doing the best they can to try and keep this thing in check, but you know, these problems will occur, and they have to be careful.
Well, with that, Rachel, these guys are good on fuel. Glenn Hendrick, if he comes to pit road now, he's good. Does he just try and save fuel and remain out front? Guys like Richard Regan, they're coming to pit road.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and a couple of motors have popped there from guys involved in those incidents. I think that was Austin Coop's engine, so unfortunately I think he is done so for this. And awful netcode for this one, but this has put us under caution now, right towards the end. One of the big competitors there for our win, Austin Coop, is out of this thing. Flag's now restarting second. Jorgensen Jr. in third. De Merchant, this is now becoming a very tight group at the front.
Even with all this, 26 cars still on the lead lap. You got guys like Austin Coop. He is down on pit road getting damage repaired, but Not going to happen for the 53 machine. His shots at the Superspeedway 500 are over. But you have guys like Glenn Hendrick, Rod Flag, Mark Jorgensen Jr., Seth the Merchant, Jake Champion, Andrew Berger, Michael Cozy, all these guys from first on back to like 23rd, 24th. If you have a good car, you still have a chance at the victory.
Yeah, you really do. And wow, it's definitely right now whittling down our field. Death by 1,000 cuts.
It's like being murdered with a very dull spoon.
That is one way of putting it, yes.
Like I said, my English gets awful.
Mm-hmm.
But 13 laps to go at the start-finish line. I think trying to do the math here with the laps added in there, but Glenn Hendrick's still out front. I'll update you on a couple of guys who are, you're not going to see out on the racetrack. Justin Levine, Jarrett Schwartz in 28th and 29th respectively. Victor Bartlett, Sean McCarrick, Frank Busilia III, Ramon Evans, Joshua Schwartz, Ricky Wall, Travis Brown, Joseph Gorange, Matthew Albany, and Joseph Yunkins, all out of tonight's race. That's going to be 28th through 39th. But yeah, surprisingly, still 24 drivers still on the lead lap.
Yeah, there are so far, and wow, 24 drivers could win this thing. It's open to any one of them.
One of the drivers it is no longer open to, I think, is Austin Coop, and we've caught up with him yet again. Austin?
Hey there.
Well, you've got your car repaired. The netcode strikes again, and this time you're the unfortunate victim of it. Have you seen that happening a couple times, or is that just something that we're seeing on our screens?
I haven't really looked at the replay on my side of the things, but I have the broadcast up on the left side, and I've seen some pretty big net codes, and that one's pretty bad. I don't really have very many nice things to say right now, it's just kind of ridiculous. It's been happening all night, so I should have just expected it. I don't really know why I was surprised, but we were having a really good fight. Really was having a lot of fun. I don't think I was going to win at that point, and I was probably going to be making it close on fuel, but it's frustrating when that happens. I mean, I think at Charlotte I had one worse net code, and someone was at the very bottom of the track, I was the very top, but when you get taken out like that, it's just like, you just can't, what the heck do you do?
You can't be mad at the person who technically wrecked you, and you can't be really mad at anybody. It's unfortunate. You're angry, but you have nobody to direct your anger towards.
Well, I do, but I'll just be quiet.
Austin Coop saving face in the number 53 machine. But Austin, we'll let you go here, and we're going to get ready for the restart here.
We certainly will, and wow, back to green flag conditions here. Austin Coop, disappointment for him there in the race as we run down to the final few moments of this thing. This has been a bit of a mission, guys, but there's 82 of you watching the very end of this thing here. Thank you all for joining us as we get ready to go green this time by, and we'll have an 11 lap run to the flag. It's so close to 10.
Glenn Hendrick is your leader. Rod Flag, your pole sitter on the outside. Mark Jorgensen Jr., Seth the Merchant in 4th. Jake Champion in 5th. Andrew Berger, Michael Cozy Jr., Brandon Cruz Monsivice in 8th. Greg Hooks and Garrison Hogan round out your top 10. So far, your biggest mover, I believe it's a split between Andrew Berger or Seth the Merchant and Brandon Cruz Monsivice. They started 32nd, 37th, and 34th, and they're all running inside the top 10. So those guys doing a great job to work their way through from the back. And what we've seen tonight, it's worked your way through the back multiple times.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're doing a great job for it. But wow, this is it now. 23 cars in the lead lap here, so feasibly 23 of those guys could win this race. Depending on what happens, we'll have to see just how this one goes down. The drivers are starting to fall. Tiredness is kicking in, and we'll see how this race goes down. I mean, surely, Gabe, without some of this netcode, this might be an entirely different race.
Yeah, and it's a what if here, Rachel, but I tell you what, the only what if right now that we have is who is going to win this race. That sounded a lot better in my head, but the 21 machine of Glenn Hendrick, he's going to come to the American Ethanol green flag.
look at the run though. Flag.
Yeah, flag.
Green flag and flag is flying. Both flags are flying.
But that's going to actually leave him out to dry because Seth the Merchant checked up and ended up moving to the bottom side. So he's going to have to side draft his way past the 21 machine if he can get it done. But drivers continuing to just slowly snake to the bottom side of the racetrack.
Oh, flag on his own there. He hasn't got a gap. Will Berger let him in? I don't think he will. He's trying to hold on here. Berger closes the gap there. Flag goes backwards, which is heartbreak for his chances. But this puts the slightly damaged car of the 88 in a very good position here to win this thing. So does the Merchant. We'll have to see how this one plays forwards, but wow, that changes things dramatically from a great start to absolute abandonment for Rod Flag.
They come to the start-finish line this time by 10 laps to go. Glenn Hendrick trying to pull off a miracle. He started 7th, fell back early, and then got back up to the lead around halfway. And now he's, he was back there drafting with Austin Coop, and he has a vague amount of fuel. He might be able to make it. He might not. Austin Coop said that he was close on fuel, so Glenn Hendrick should be in the same position here, Rachel. But either way, he's leading with inside 10 laps to go.
With the 77, and we have another caution. Michael Cozy Jr., I think, is now out of this thing. He got a tap from the 7, another uneven bump from the 7. Round he goes, because I think the 77 here, we've got a replay for you. The 24 wasn't going fast enough, so the 77 was trying to just not go full on the gas because he had nowhere to go. 7 kept pushing, and pop.
Yeah, I don't understand some of these guys.
Oh, hits the 46 Orega Jr.
Oh,
Yeah, they need to stop pushing. That's one of the big problems we've seen happen repeatedly is people keep pushing.
And they keep pushing when guys are trying to ride the brake because they're trying not to slam into the guys in front of them. At some point you have to realize that you can't make up any more spots, on the inside. So just lay off and ride. And actually the 7 had nowhere to go. It was actually the 76 machine behind him of Scott Warren was actually pushing the 7 into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And wow, what a change. That was just, yeah. Heartbreak for some of these guys who've had a real opportunity in this race, and another caution brings the stress level down up so much higher now. These guys are going to have to work so hard, and wow. It's definitely making things a little different up here in the top 10. These final laps are going to be even more frantic with every caution we get, and well, they're keeping the tension stepped up on how quickly this thing will end.
So this will be a restart with about 5 laps to go, Rachel, maybe 4, but that's going to put us in territory to where if we get another caution, the race will be over with. So that'll be kind of the race within a race. Do you stay out front and hope for another caution, or do you put yourself in a good position to maybe make the pass on the last lap? That's going to be the deciding factor in this, because there's some guys, if you're riding in second and you kind of fool the guy who's leading, you may be able to make it work. I'll tell you what, as we ride here really under caution.
Yep, go for it.
We ride here under caution. Me and Rachel are both losing it. We're going to take a quick nap here on LSRTV, and we'll be right back here for the conclusion of the Superspeedway Series 500K here on LSRTV. We'll be right back here from Daytona.
driving the number 20 JGR Toyota Xfinity car this weekend. Really great opportunity here at New Hampshire at my home track. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been on iRacing, practicing a little bit here and there with the modified and the NASCAR Xfinity car, so it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great tool for me to kind of get used to that stock car body again and be prepared for the race today. Well, yeah, it's a mile long, so the draft kind of plays into effect here with the modifieds, punches a big hole in the air, and we run restrictor plates. So it makes a big difference. Just really fast, and it's our Daytona. So that's what's great about it, and we have a fast car for tomorrow. I think the biggest thing is they're heavier cars. The tire's a lot different, and the way you go about setting them up is a lot different. They use all 4 tires more than a modified, where we typically drive off the right rear, you know, so. Well, actually, it's funny. I raced NASCAR race in 2003 before iRacing came about. And then when iRacing came about, my friend Kevin Iannarelli, who works at iRacing, kind of told me, hey man, you need to switch over to this. And when I did, I was like, oh my God, this is like real life. So I started using it as a tool of mine to really prepare for modified races, whether it was Stafford or Thompson or Loudon, Bristol. And then obviously the Xfinity Series last year, going to road courses, trying to get laps, and use it as a tool that can get me as prepared as I could be without actually doing it. So it's been great.
Welcome back to Superspeedway Cup Series here on LSRTV, and well, we're going to go green this time by for 6 laps of mayhem here at the end of Superspeedway Cup Series 500, as there is a chance we'll get another caution and go back to green for 2 laps. Green white checker, please don't. Please don't. But either way, we're going back green here, and well, we'll be having a restart now. 6 laps to go.
That's 5.
Mark Jorgensen Jr., Seth DeMerchant, Jake Champion. It'll be 5 laps to go. I'm really tired. It's 25 past 4 in the morning.
Yeah, it'll be 5 laps to go because we're not going to 125. We're going to 124. So it'll be 5 laps to go at the line this time by Glenn Hendrick. Mark Jorgensen, your front row. iRacing.com. Ford Mustang pace car pulls to pit road for the final time. It's going to make that hard left-hand turn. Green flag in the air. Big push coming from the 57 of Seth DeMerchant as they head through the tri-oval into turn number 1. Who's going to come away with the victory here at Daytona?
We'll have to find out very soon, because Jorgensen Jr. has a little bit of front-end damage, so this might affect his ability to go forwards here. Though that car's not looking terrible right now, apart from a little crinkle on the right, which could be something else. But DeMerchant's front end looks a little crunched as well, so this could be the race of the crippled cars. Or the 21 of Hedrick might be in a prime spot to take this. 7 and 31 pushing on the outside. We'll see what will happen.
They head into turn number 3, the 21 of Glenn Hendrick. Watch the pushing, guys. That was the reason for the last caution. That was the reason for the last 4 or 5 cautions, minus a few netcode incidents.
Also, please, guys, stay away from each other.
Everyone get together.
Yeah, stay away from each other. You've seen the netcode so far. RNGesus is not happy right now. Stay away from each other, and we'll keep this thing green to the end. If you side draft with a piece of paper between your cars, there's a real chance that one of you will turn the other one, and this will all end in tears, so don't do it. Thank you. Anyway, Glenn Hendrick, the way is there. We go. Exactly my points. Exactly the point I was trying to raise. Look at that. They stay close together. 95 tips up, and the 31, whose car is apparently twice the size with bubble wrap, goes round, and everyone else is dead. The end.
And that'll give the 21 at Glenn Hendrick the victory, but they've got to go around a few more times.
No, this will end the caution. This is like 21-21. I think this is done.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He has to go around a few more times under caution to take the victory here at Daytona. It'll be 3 laps to go this time by. They'll catch the pace car as it is in turn number 2 at the moment, going onto the back straightaway.
Like I said, this is exactly what I meant. Stay away from each other. You think it's great to go bump sides of your cars together? Then that happens. I mean, seriously.
Well,
Come on, guys.
I see that, but it was kind of unavoidable. You know, they were so far apart that there's nothing they could have done. But
at the same time, people are kind of pushing the luck by doing literally the opposite and going super close, which in this case, we are now going to officially end under caution. This race is done. Glenn Hendrick wins the Superspeedway 500 as far as I could tell.
And shout out to everybody in the comment section in VG Racing saying that Rachel and I were the best thing about the race. Don't say that.
Heck yeah, we were.
Unfortunate, you know, for the Superspeedway series, they want to start off 2018 with a bang, and they did with the shootout. And then it just kind of goes away with the race like this. And, you know, it'll be right back to normal when they come back next week to Talladega, I believe. But it's just the nature of the beast here, especially with the amount of netcode that we've seen all day. You know, this has just been an abnormality for the Superspeedway series. Do not put them down. You know, don't you know, blame this on them. You know, because it has been one thing after another tonight.
Absolutely, it's not really been their problem. Like, yeah, you are absolutely right. This has been completely an issue of netcode here, and not something that's realistically their fault. So you can kind of understand how this would happen in the way it's done, and it's unfortunate for the series, but it's just, unfortunately, like we said, an unfortunate side effect of netcode.
They hit the 2 lap to go mark last time by Glenn Hendrick, continuing to cycle around at 80 miles an hour. Your top 5, we can go ahead and go over your, you know, your top few drivers. Seth the Merchant, Andrew Berger come home 2nd and 3rd. Mark Jorgensen Jr. in 4th. Scott Warren comes home in 5th.
He does indeed. 6th place today will be Garrison Hogan. Lucas Graham in 7th place. Rod Flagg in 8th place after losing the draft and getting shoved down the order. Daniel Holloway, Robbie Lyon in 10th place.
Raymond Rittenauer comes home in 11th, started 31st, so a good night overall for him. Alexander Russell in 12th. Gary Champion in the 18 machine comes home 13th. Rodney Walford in 14th. And Austin Coop rounds out your top 15.
16th place today, Brandon Cruz Monsivice, Corey Henry, Michael Cozy Jr., Jake Champion, and Greg Hook in 20th.
Drivers outside the top 20. 21st and 22nd, Richard Regan and Corey Smith, both involved in some accidents. 23rd on back, drivers multiple laps down, Mike Schultz in the 23rd spot in the 16 machine. Spencer Breed, Chris Piscini, Dan Harrington, Joey Piccolola in the 27th position. Justin Levine, Jarrett Schwartz, and Victor Bartlett round out your top 30.
Schwartz was not with him. 31st, Sean McCarrick, Frank Vasily III, Romain Evans, Joshua Schwartz, Ricky Wall, Travis Brown, Joseph Gorringe, Matthew Alamy, and Joseph Yunkins rounding out 39th and last.
As they take the white flag, Glenn Hendrick just has 2.5 miles to go to claim the victory here in the first victory of 2018 for the 21 machine out of the Carolina division. Seth the Merchant had, you look up here, Rachel. DeMerchant, Jorgensen, and Rodney Walford all had what was, arguably some of the best cars out there. They know how to get it done on the super speedways, but it's just the draft model and the wrecks and the cautions, the way they fell. And it looks like we actually got technical issues on the 54 machine, so Brandon Cruz Monsivice is not going to end this race, unfortunately. But DeMerchant, Jorgensen, they all had fast cars, but you get a guy like Glenn Hendrick who knows how to control the draft and gets lucky with the restarts, and he comes away with a victory.
Absolutely, and Glenn Hendrick had a great time with this thing. I mean, he deserves this win. He did a great job here.
He did.
Either way,
he did get it done out on the racetrack.
There we go again. We both stopped and paused and went, and yeah. So, like I said, either way, it's been a great race. It's been a race of endurance, and it prepares people for the 24, of course, tomorrow. And it has been a fun and exciting event. Long event. Of course, the IROC event was fantastic. This race was great. We absolutely loved it. Netcode, unfortunately, kind of tried to spoil the day, but you know what? We still had a fantastic 500k today.
Glenn Hendrick comes away with the victory. Some congratulatory shoves from the 88 of Jorgensen. Looks like the 76 machine, a big shot from Scott Warren. Other drivers voicing their congratulations to the number 21 machine as he takes home the victory in the Superspeedway 500K. And you're going to have to look back here at your promotion. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break here at Daytona International Speedway. Back with your winner and the rest of your top three if we can get a hold of them. This has been the this has been the Superspeedway Series 500K live from Daytona on LSRTV. We'll be right back.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSRTV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Live Sim Racing LLC and iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations. LSRTV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.
Welcome back to the Superspeedway Cup Series post-race show here on LSR TV. And coming up first, Gabe has got a chance to chat to third place driver today, Andrew Berger, coming away with the third spot. Gabe.
Down here with the 24 machine, and Andrew was a race of attrition, and that's all we can say here, but you come away with the victory. We saw netcode, we saw guys doing some ill-advised pushing. What was the biggest factor in tonight's race that you saw that needs to be worked on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty clear. I mean, when you have new guys coming into the series, a brand new season, a lot of new talent trying to make a name for themselves, I mean, you're going to have what you had tonight. So I think going into next week, we'll see some of the drivers probably going back to the lower series, I guess I'll call it, and they'll have to work their way back up. But no, I mean, tonight is what it was. I mean, it was obviously a lot of cautions. Hopefully the fans stuck it out. I know we're all pretty tired and want to move on to next week already, but what can I say? I mean, the team kept with it there, and at the end we held and got a top 5 out of it.
Yeah, Andrew, actually, you said the fans stuck with it. Had 65 people watch the finish of this race. It was a very high viewership, so you guys have some very loyal fans here at the Superspeedway Series. And, you know, now on to your personal race. How do you think it went? Do you think you could have maybe... We never saw you actually get up to the lead, but did you think you had the car to do it, or were you kind of stuck behind somebody like Jorgensen, where you basically knew you were going to have to push him to the victory?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. I mean, we started almost last coming into the race, so I knew I had to work my way through the field, and actually I did, and we got second place there at the first stage at lap 60, and I thought, hey man, Mark and I can win this race, but we got shuffled back after some pit stop strategy there. But yeah, at the end there, I mean, I knew Mark was going to be strong. He always is at these plate tracks, as we all know. And I was going to either push him or Ronnie to the win past Glenn there, to be honest. But it just wasn't meant to be. I mean, hats off to Glenn. I mean, he made the right call. He had like 0 fuel left. He pitted like at lap 95, so he was almost out if it would have went green there. So hats off to him on a great call. He won the race because of that, so he earned it. But we'll move on to next week, and the 24 team will hopefully be in victory lane next week.
Well, congratulations, Andrew. We'll let you go here. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Oh, man, I just got to thank Rod, Flag as always, for putting on this league. I guess a special shout out now that we have a sponsor to Robbie Lyons and Barstool 49ers and the Sunwest Construction Superspeedway Cup Series. That's cool that we have a sponsor this season. So I think the top 5 drivers from this week will have a chance to get that bonus next week. So I'll be shooting for that with the Barstool Awards. So look for that next week. But yeah, no, just thank all the guys that was racing with there. Mark, Chris had a tough night, Frank as well. I mean, a lot of wrecks for the team tonight. So we'll move on to next week and hopefully have a better race.
Again, congratulations, Andrew. Great way to start off the season. I'm going to send it back to Rachel, see if we have any more drivers. If not, I believe we're going to close out tonight's broadcast.
Yeah, I believe so far only third place wanted to come talk to us. Seth the Merchant, Glenn Hedrick not here with us tonight, so we are going to wrap things up here on LSRTV. It's been a long, long race tonight, and thank you all for sticking with us. We're going to close things out tonight. Don't forget you can join us same time next week for the first non-Daytona round of the Superspeedway Cup Series. Regular season commences. Thanks for watching, guys, and goodbye.